Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand up. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we start with public comments, scheduled, non-scheduled, and presentations, and we have presentations. Is Representative Mark Tisdale here? Come on up. First on the agenda.
That's good because I'm double parked.
Where's our parking enforcement?
Where is, yeah, exactly, where's the police department?
Let me see, can I close that out?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to talk about, just to start off with, I've been in discussion with Mayor Jones, former Mayor Salvia, and City Manager Banda going back on this. Come on, open up. Am I doing something wrong?
Jeremy, you want to help him? Or Jason?
We'll get you a little assistance here.
Here comes some help.
I shake this. So anyway, so here's I've got some information up there. But, so as you know, what's important here is last December, a $2 million grant that was issued to the city of Rochester for the community house renovation was withdrawn. And what happens is at the end of every fiscal year, the state budget office has 45 days to send over to the legislature a list of those grants that are, that makes it.
Can you read that, Mayor?
Thank you for that, yes.
And the important part is apparently termination will. But so all of the grants that are issued, that's fine right there. All of the grants that are issued have an expiration date on them. And at the end of each fiscal year, the state budget office has 45 days to send to the House Appropriations Chair and the Senate Appropriations Chair a list of all of those grants that are expiring. And then the respective appropriations committees have 15 days to reauthorize or just let dollars expire. So in December of this year, there were $645 million worth of state grants that the House Appropriations Committee unilaterally, which they can under law, allowed to expire. And the city of Rochester's $2 million for the community house renovation project was one of the, $2 million of those $645 million. And it got a lot of press at the time, and I got a lot of concerned phone calls. What wasn't reported at the time was that what the state budget office reported over was $2.7 billion worth of expiring. There's about $645 million which were not renewed. Why did Rochesters get caught up in the $645 million that wasn't renewed or was allowed to expire? Of the $2 million that was issued, the state saw or believed that there was just $9,000 that was spent. And so the question became then, is this $2 million really necessary? And that's why it's now coming up for new. Well, I'm just going to leave that as it is. So that's why it came up for renewal, and now we're going through the process. There's a new 45-day process. I've submitted, and it's been accepted, and I think I've shared that with Councilwoman Salvia and the mayor and Nick. So I've submitted a $3.4 million ask. That has to be posted for 45 days. There's a form that says who the state representative is or who the legislator is that's requesting this, what it's for, is it a nonprofit organization, all those kinds of things. And that has to be posted for 45 days for public review. And so that time period has been met. So what will be coming up for a hearing soon, and I'm hoping that someone from the city will be there to testify either in person or by Zoom with me. So what happened? Why is this all of a sudden a big concern about what money is hanging out there, and is it being used or not? There's an annual report put together by the Treasury Department that shows the amount of interest being received by the state for deposits that are being held, and I believe our bank of record is Wells Fargo. Well, for years, it's 0, 0, 0, 0, very minimal amounts. And then in 2023, it was $650 million in interest. In 2024, it was $550 million in interest. And in 2025, it was $434 million in interest. So in 3 years, you're looking at about $1.6 billion in interest paid to the state on monies that are sitting in deposits. And so the question becomes, how much money would that have to be sitting, at 5% interest? You're talking about $10 billion that's sitting in deposit. So the question becomes, what was that money allocated for? What was it appropriated for? And how is it that $10 million can just be sitting there? And can we get it out working for what it was appropriated for, or can we return it to the taxpayers whose money it belongs to? And the governor right now is talking about $800 million in new taxes. So that's what generated all of that sudden interest and the withholding of a continuation of $645 million in grants that looked like they were relatively static. There are still $2.1 billion that were moved on as work project dollars that can be on the books for 4 years. So that's what happened to the $2 million. We're in the process of asking for $3.4 million, which I understand every time you go back and you get a bid, the bid on the renovation keeps going up, and council and the planning commission have been reworking the design to try and keep the numbers down. And so that's where that $2 million is, and that came out of work done during the last budget project process. We estimated that there's somewhere between $6 and $10 billion of work project funds that are just simply sitting there collecting interest. We identified 4,277 full-time employees, fully funded, but employees were never hired. And so that was about $600 million or more, depending on how you run the math. It could run as close to as high as $1 billion. So in the last budget process, we were able to come in $1 billion below the prior year's budget. That's the first time that's happened outside of war or recession in Michigan history, so that was a good thing. We were able to eliminate taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. That was a good thing. We were able to, again, fund at a record level the school aid fund. So that was a good thing. We got 2,000 of the 4,277 funded but not filled FTE positions eliminated. So we eliminated funding for 2,000 FTEs without firing anyone. So that's money that's in the bank. As we approach this budget cycle, The Consensus Revenue Estimating Conference believes that we're going to be down $1 billion from what we anticipated. The current budget is $81 billion when you count federal funds, and federal funds are about 41% of the total budget, which is a little scary because the federal government is broke. So we're at about $81 billion in total budget. The executive branch recommendation for the coming year is $88 billion. When we're looking at $1 billion less in revenues than were expected. So there's going to be quite a spread to make up there, and there's proposed $800 million in new taxes, so I don't know where the other billions are going to come from. The Speaker of the House is talking about eliminating the state property tax, which is 6 mills that goes to education. That would be about $6 billion that would have to be made up. And one of the things that's being discussed is an expansion of the sales tax onto services, kind of higher end discretionary purchases, and there's a list of them in multiple newspapers. So between the $6 billion that the Speaker is talking about in reduced taxes, $1 billion less than what we were anticipating coming in, and $7 billion more in total budget, that's about a $14 billion spread between where the House and the executive branch is right now. So there's an awful lot of work that has to be done. House Bill 4141, which was my bill to prohibit the use of smartphones in K through 12 public schools during instruction time. That was the first bill that was signed into law this calendar year. I'm very proud of that. It was the first vote to come up this calendar year. It passed 99-9 in the House and 34-1 in the Senate. My first draft of that bill was in 2023. Talked to an awful lot of people in between, and you don't get 99 votes in the House and 34-1 in the Senate yourself. It requires pulling along a lot of people on both sides of the aisle in both chambers, and it went through a multiple of iterations, and we came up with what I believe is a very good bill. What it does is it prohibits the use of smartphones. Basic phones are allowed in school all day long under the law. My message is buy a basic phone for your kids. You can save a lot of money. K through 6, all day is instruction time, right? So my original bill, the state of the art is a bell-to-bell prohibition of smartphones in schools. And that was the original target. K through 6 is half of the grades. I can settle for that compromise. And as that cohort of students moves through the process and is acclimated to not having a smartphone with them all day long, it will be easier for school districts to increase the restrictions on the use of smartphones during the day, which the law allows. I have another bill pending, 4388, along this lines, that you know, the demonstrated harms from exposure to social media time, well demonstrated. The U.S. Surgeon General's office has been talking about this for 5 years easily. But what 4388 would do is simply prohibit minors from entering into a contract to open a social media account. When you open a social media account, you have to accept their terms of use agreement. That's a legally binding contract. Well, where else do we allow minors to enter into a legally binding contract? And the answer is nowhere. So why this carve out for social media sites that we know are harmful for minors? And so on the back end, if there are psychological or mental wellness problems that manifest themselves in our teens and tweens, it's going to be the parents that are responsible for financially, emotionally, or psychologically picking up the pieces. If our parents are going to be held responsible on the back end, they have to have some authority on the front end. And so I'm just trying to reconnect authority and responsibility. And so if it's illegal for a minor to enter into a legally binding contract, and I don't think anyone wants to fuzzy the line between where a minor can or cannot give consent, that opens the door to a lot of problems. Again, if the parents are going to be responsible on the back end, they have to have the authority on the front end. So it would require a parent to open the account. It would give the parent 100% access to the account by giving the parent all of the login information, and that site would be shut down for a minor between 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. when studies have shown that half of teens and tweens are online between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. Wow. Disrupting their sleep patterns, again, which is a precursor to anxiety, depression, ideation, and all the other problems that go along with that. 5660 and 5661, that's our response
that's right.
to the preemption bills that are in the House that would take away local communities' zoning and code ordinance authority, and all communities would operate under a uniform state restrictions or guidelines. I've been working with the Michigan Municipal League, which is a kind of good government organization, since relatively early 2024. In December of 2024, the executive director, their director of legislative affairs, and I met at a restaurant right downtown Rochester, one of those where they use the butcher paper for the tablecloths, and we grabbed the crayons and started writing out plans and ideas. We had a press conference in the initial introduction of these two bills in August, and we actually had it's from Cruz and Muir on Main downtown. We actually had the tablecloth with all the scribblings on it and used it as a prop. But so what my bill and Representative Samantha Steckloff from the other side of the aisle, Farmington Hills, and we've worked on legislation that's been signed into law before. What the bill simply does is it outlines modern best practices for zoning and code ordinances and possible changes, and those communities that adopt those can come to the state and ask for additional funding. Funding toward the building of new properties, funding toward the of new residential homes, funding toward the rehabilitation of residential homes. It's aimed at people 120% of the area median income, so 120% of whatever the median income is in my district. And there's a 5-year deed restriction on those properties, so people don't get the advantage of the $100 toward a new build or $50,000 toward a renovation and just flip it, and that becomes their capital. They would have to sell it to someone else that fits within that $120,000 or 120% of the median income. And so it's carrots versus sticks, and that's what we're trying to do there. And I guess I am available for questions at this point.
I just want to
Or I
thank,
can keep rambling.
No. We have the robotics kits waiting, so we'll probably not. But I do want to thank you for both of those bills. The one about cell phones and the other one that you're doing about housing. Marilyn and I just talked about it today. We're going to the MML conference tomorrow, where I think there'll be more chatter, so thanks for all the hard work on that.
You're welcome. It's up to about 2,000 local elected officials that have signed a petition rejecting the preemption
Yeah.
bills. I think there's 4 of those, 4 or 5 of those. And again, it applies a one size fits all to every
100%.
community in the state, which we're all very different. And before we get to Councilwoman Trent's question, it's estimated we're 120,000 to 190,000 dwelling units short in the state of Michigan. And although and yet our population has been flat really since 1980. So it's not that we're busting at the seams and there's no place to live. It's that there's a shortage of homes in area where people want to live, and there's an excess of homes in areas where people don't want to live, and they don't want to live there for a number of reasons. Among them, in many of those areas, is city income taxes, high mills per thousand, underperforming schools. And so that's that mismatch between where available homes are and where demand for housing is. And that's what we're trying to address and provide incentives to look at some of these changes.
Yeah.
Councilmember Trent.
Yes, I'm excited to see that you and Representative Steckloff had a rebuttal or a response, a proactive response with my home program bill, 5660 and 5661. And I was listening to the Live with the League today, and your name was brought up in a very positive manner. Yep, and they talked about the preemption bill just a bit, that they did say that the state of, they were trying to do something because we do have an affordability problem, and they, in a positive way, were saying we're trying to solve this problem. They are obviously not for it, but they weren't bashing anybody. They were just saying, we've got a problem. And so I like that rebuttal. I have another question. Should we expect every year going forward to take a look at the grants and stop them being awarded? It was quite an upheaval, and it had never been done before. So I just wanted to understand, is that like something to be expected? And is it so bad that now we have extra interest? There's a lot of interest now. Can we do something with that? And,
Well, and that's obviously it didn't just happen. It didn't go from half a $1,000,000 in interest being received in a year to $600 million being received in 1 year. It was an obvious strategy. And so the question becomes, what was the point of the strategy? And when interest is paid in, it goes to the general fund, and the general fund is unencumbered. You're much freer to spend those dollars. And so are we hoarding billions of dollars that could be put to work in effort to generate unencumbered dollars that can be more easily spent? And so I'm not saying that's the rationale behind it, but I'm open to other suggestions.
I don't have one. I just wondered. And I did want to know, so do you think we should be expecting this every year?
Well, it's always been a part of the law, and the ability for either the House or the Senate Appropriations Committees to act unilaterally without testimony has been a law since 1984. It's only been used once in a much smaller amount.
Okay.
But that's what's driving this. It's and again, there was 2.7 came down, and the House held back $645 million. So there's still an awful lot that went through, but that's the antenna are starting to go up. What is going on with $10 billion sitting in the bank, and we're asking for tax increases, and we're asking for more allocation of dollars in the way of grants, and we're not spending $10 billion that's already been allocated. So we're trying to push that along. Relative to the property issues, it wasn't necessarily a rebuttal. Like I say, we had a press conference on this and announced it back in August. It's simply there were some technical changes that needed to be made in the language. It got held up in the Legislative Services Bureau, and that the preemption bills got filed before ours did. And so, and the reality is, this is an election year. And affordability, or as I prefer to refer to it as the unaffordability problem, is very real. And every candidate that wants to be elected wants to be able to point to something that they're doing about this problem. So when that first set of bills came out, bipartisan bills, there were a lot of people jumped on board and said, yeah, I'm all for it. And now they're getting a look at an alternative, that along with over 2,000 people that have signed a petition saying this is bad. There are some people that are, starting to backpedal a little bit right now.
Oh, that's good. One other
Councilmember-
question, just 120% medium income, what is that for our area?
Median, I don't know.
Okay, I
don't
just want to
know.
know. And thank you for working on the social media regulation. No, the big tech
Yeah.
companies, they've never been regulated very much, so it's been up to the states
Well,
to
and
pick
it's
some of
it's
that
a
up.
relatively new phenomenon. Facebook bought Instagram in 2012. The first forward-facing camera for selfies really started selling in 2011, the iPhone 4.
Yeah, it's all new.
And 2012 is when the mental health, mental wellness pathologies started to take off and wellness started to deteriorate. So we're seeing now the fruits of that. It's just been, really a decade or so. And so we're just catching up with the technology.
I
and
appreciate
there's room
that.
for improvement.
I want 2 thumbs up for both, the smartphone and the social media
Thank you.
regulation.
And I'm trying to figure out how to work butterflies in there.
Yeah, I mean, you already signed that bill.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, the monarch, the milkweed is no longer on the noxious weed list. So thank you for that again.
Councilmember Salvia.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Tisdale. Thank you for being here. I have a comment and a question. So comment regarding the community house funding. I'm not sure if all the parts of the state government are communicating, but the city and the city council, as recent as this past Saturday, is making decisions and actions to move forward on that.
Yeah.
Because we've been notified that $2 million is unencumbered. So we are moving forward in spending.
That it is
$2 million.
freed up. Okay. I did hear last week that there are over $300 million have been renewed. I have not seen a list of what that was, so I was reluctant to bring that up in case it wasn't true. But I do have into the policy director, I have an email in requesting that specific information, and I'll confirm that as soon as I get it.
Thank you, thank you. And then secondly, question regarding these really important bills, House Bill 5660, 5661. My understanding is that keeps local control.
Yes.
Because to me, this is an economics issue. If you have more supply, that lowers cost, which is great. But we need local control. And so that's what I'm hoping we see in those. And here at the City of Rochester, we've kind of put our zoning ordinances, the implementation, on hold because we don't know what's going to happen. So any idea on timing? I mean, it sounds like you think it's going to move quickly because of the election, but what are your thoughts?
I don't know that it will move quickly. I do know that everybody out there wants to be able to claim that they're doing something. And so.
I get it.
So the first batch came up and a lot of people jumped on board so they could say, like run to the head of the parade no matter where it's going. So.
That's pretty funny.
And that happens sometimes. So, I actually don't know that anything will be passed. The problem is, and at my office, we're working on a new program called Senior Deals, where we're trying to create and again, working with the Michigan Municipal League, we know that there's a large reservoir of underutilized housing out there that are owned by senior empty nesters. But they're trapped in there because of the way our property taxes are applied. They're trapped because the transfer taxes are expensive, sales commissions, other registration fees. So we're trying to address a lot of those issues. And between now and November, that could bring houses. That could bring additional supply onto the market. It might be a step-up home for a lot of people, but if there's availability, then those people that are moving out of their first home will make available for others to move into their home. And so we're hoping for a domino effect there. But again, that's a supply driven. And the unfortunate part is the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, in the 2025 State of the State address, the governor talked about spending $2 billion to buy, build, or repair 11,000 homes. That's about $183,000 per house. We're talking about $160 million, $100,000 per home, $50,000 for a reno, and targeted. But the MISHDA efforts to date have really been adding to demand. There's a shortage of affordable entry-level homes on the market. If you increase demand for those by subsidizing buyers that wouldn't qualify for a mortgage on their own, you're simply going to end up more demand for low supply. It just simply drives the prices up. So it's a bad cycle that we're in right now that we're trying to creatively break and get some people to stop thinking in old habits, old patterns.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
you.
for your time.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. All right. Moving on to the next part of the agenda, we have the Rochester High School Robotics Team, and they're going to give us a presentation. Step on up and introduce yourself and take it away.
Hello, I am Charles. I am a third-year student on the team, and I'm our electrical lead.
My name's Anoop. I'm a second-year member of the team, and I'm part of the mechanical subgroup.
Does everybody want to step up and introduce themselves?
Hello, my name is Casper. I am a third-year student on our team, and I'm our team's People and Culture co-captain. So I help lead the group that we have on our non-technical side, so like the outreach, marketing, and advocacy that we do.
My name is Lauren. I'm a second-year student on the team, and I'm a member of the People and Culture group.
Thank you.
My name is Arya. I'm a junior. I'm a third-year student on this team, and I'm part of programming and people culture.
Thank you. All right.
We are Rochester High School Robotics Team. We are 201 The Feds. So a bit about our game this year and a little bit about our team throughout is what we're going to be talking about. So right now our game challenge is called Rebuilt. This is our first robotics competition game, and this is the high school level game for us in Michigan. So our main goal is we must pick up and score fuel. I brought one with me. It's about a 6-inch, pretty stiff foam ball, and there are about 400 of these on our field at a time. Matches are played in a 3-team versus 3-team on what are called alliances, and this basically encourages competitive cooperation. Your alliance member for one match you may be versing them in the next match. So there's an incentive to help each other out even if you are competing at some point. And you can't really succeed in the game without help. They design specific ways into the game that you have to meet a point threshold, but one robot alone can't do that. You actually do have to work together as a team. We play 12 matches at a competition, qualification matches, and that will basically give us what are called ranking points. Excuse me. That gives us what are called ranking points, and that basically assesses our ranking of the roughly 30 to 40 teams at a district event. After that, the top 8 teams are assigned alliance captains. They will become the leads for alliances of 3 teams in the playoff match. Trying to look. Throughout the qualification matches, we do what's called scouting. We look at how the other teams are playing, where they're scoring from, what can they score, and just generally look at that kind of information. And then if we are an alliance captain, we can use that data to inform who we pick. After going through that, we then take our playoffs. It's a double elimination style bracket, so you have to lose 2 matches to be out, but if you only lose one, you could make it back and be still competitive in the finals. And when you win at a district level comp, you will then progress to our state competition.
So an award given by FIRST is the FIRST Impact Award. Teams that win this award in the district level automatically advance to the state championship, and teams who won the Impact Award at states automatically advance to World Championship, which we, the Feds, have done for the last 3 years.
Nicely done.
Congrats.
The kickoff to our season starts in early January. This is global across the entire world. We have a meeting on the Saturday when it releases, and we have like a little group where we watch the kickoff video. We start discussing some strategy, how we want to play the game, and what we think some of the season is going to look like. Our competitions start in March. We actually just had the first round of competitions this past weekend. We were not at that competition. We have our competition this upcoming weekend in Midland. But competitions start in March and they run through roughly mid-April. There are about 7 weeks of them before our world competition. So during our 8 weeks before competition, roughly 8 weeks, we start looking into our strategy, how we want to play the game, how we want to design our robot to play the game. And we have a lot of students take the lead on that. We have leads and co-captains that sort of act as the student leads, but then we also work closely with our mentors, with a lot of them having some experience either in programming or mechanical. One of our mentors was a systems engineer at General Dynamics, and so he has done a lot to help show us the actual engineering process in our team, and it has been a very useful insight. We do operate year-round, so when we're not in our main competition season from January to May, we're doing a lot of work with outreach programs and our impact and training students and get them engaged in STEM, which they will talk more about in a bit here, but that's what we mostly do in the off-season.
So, giving some background about FIRST Robotics, the mission of FIRST Robotics is to expand STEM education for all. FIRST doesn't use humans to build robots, but uses robots to build humans. In FIRST, fierce competition is balanced with an ethos of gracious professionalism and cooperation, which participants model to follow the core values of fun, innovation, inclusion, discovery, innovation, impact, and teamwork. Helping other teams excel is highly encouraged and normalized through competitions.
So a bit about our team itself. We are completely volunteer run. We have no one actually employed. It's all people who just are there for the benefit of the team to help us be a team and do what we do. We've been around for 29 years through the high school, and over time we've lost some space, gained some space, but we work very closely with our school itself. Most of our alumni begin working in STEM fields. Fiona Tourette is one of the most recent flight directors at NASA. She went to RCS in the district there. We actually spoke to her. I was on the news with her a couple of years ago, but we were able to speak to her, and I think did we visit her in Houston?
She visited us.
Yes. But we were able to do that. Part of our motto is once a Fed, always a Fed. We have alumni just come back randomly without us even knowing. It's happened a couple of times in the past week, and it's always great to see them, and they get to see what we've been doing since they've been gone. FEDS is an acronym for Falcon Engineering Design Solution, and where we got that name from is that when our team first started out, our main sponsor was EDS, Engineering Design Solution, and for many of the first 2,000-ish robotics teams, it was very common to name your team something with your primary sponsor, so we had Falcon Engineering Design Solutions, and over time we've become FEDS, and we sort of played into Federal Agent as our branding. They're wearing jackets with the yellow text on the back. It's very similar.
I like it.
And we basically strive to have a very family-like culture. Once you're there, you're always going to be a part of us, and we just try and stay close with everyone.
So, our robot this year, we decided to name it Agent Ditto. So, every part of the robot is designed through a CAD software, Onshape, and parts are fabricated using our CNC lathe and mills, also being 3D printed too. are three main mechanisms that are integrated and packaged together in the robot is the intake, shooter, and spindexter subsystems. Many iterations of prototypes and designs are refined throughout the season to better our robot through our competition season. Naming our robot was a privilege earned by us after completing the primary goal of the robot.
And this is a rendering of our actual robot. It's very densely packaged is the goal. We're limited to a certain size constraint, so we have to figure out how to fit everything in there as efficiently as possible. I wonder, okay, so I can't see the mouse. Okay, so up here in this is our, what we call the kicker and shooter. It basically takes balls from the fuel from our spindexter, which is located inside here. It spins it and moves it up here. And then these are our main flywheels that propel it outwards. And these back sort of red rails are our adjustable hood, so we can control the angle that it launches out at, thus allowing us to shoot fuel from different points on the field while still hitting it in the same target location. On the back, we have our intake. This is on a rack and pinion, which moves out vertically to basically both expand our hopper so we have a greater fuel storage capacity, as well as deploy our intake so we can actually pick up from on the ground. Anoop, did I miss anything big on there?
Do you have a video of this thing working? I'd love to see that. That'd be
Oh,
awesome.
that'd be great.
That'd be cool to see what it does.
Yeah, if we can pull up a video that we can play after, that'd be great. All right. Yeah.
You can come see us in action at our Midland competition, which is this weekend. We also have a competition at Troy Athens High School on the 28th and 29th. And you can visit us at our shop at the RHS school Monday to Thursday, 6 to 9, and Saturdays from 9 to 4.
And on there, door 46, it's sort of around the back of the building is where we meet. We have a couple of links to some of our work that we do. We've got documentation on there. We have our team website, our presentations, stuff like that. So if anyone wants a picture of that or anything. And then any questions real quick that we can answer.
No, I don't have any yet. Are there more to your presentation?
Yes,
Or
they
maybe-
got another presentation.
Maybe we do all of it,
Yeah,
and
that
then we'll circle back for questions.
Yeah, of course.
Let the gals come up.
Let them enter up here.
Okay, so just the transition between this last part that Charles and Anoop mentioned. So more than just building a robot on the team, we do a lot more. So we actually have a full subgroup dedicated to things like outreach, advocacy, and marketing, which we call people and culture. So this presentation is part of what we do at our events. We compete for the Impact Award, which they touched lightly on. It recognizes teams who do the most to promote FIRST's mission of expanding STEM education and resources to people and communities within our greater community and beyond. So for our team, we split up all of our work into 4 core operations, which we call them because we're the feds. So we have Operation FIRST, so FIRST Robotics is like the parent nonprofit that all the robotics teams are part of. So that encompasses all of our work with other FIRST Robotics teams like us. Operation Outreach is all of our team's community outreach and what we do in the community with from talking to nonprofits and participating in community and school events. We have Operation Global, which is all of our team's global impact and outreach. And then we have OPEX, which stands for Operation Performance and Excellence, which is more of about our team's sustainability and how we're able to best manage that and share our resources with other teams. So with that, we're going to go into our presentation, and we also have a little video prepared as well.
Welcome. On this field lies the evidence of more than just a robot. Each part holds a mission, a purpose, and a legacy of impact. Casper will start with Operation First.
Operation First establishes a strong foundation for our mission. The Feds sustain one of the largest FIRST networks in the state of Michigan, having started, mentored, and hosted events for 96 teams. This includes 6 FLO Discover, 61 FLO Explore, 22 FLO Challenge, and 6 FTC teams. We host 70% of the growing FIRST programs in our school district. In fact, our network grew this year by 23%. Each year, we host the Rochester FTC Qualifier and 4 FLO Explore festivals. Our school district leaders are longstanding FIRST champions thanks to advocacy and relationship building. Our community's first ever robotics practice field was a direct result of these measures. We developed and implemented 3 FIRST-inspired robotics courses at all 3 high schools in our school district, reaching over 350 students to date. We lead with our sister schools in a coalition called Rochester United, advocating with key stakeholders for STEM resources. Together, we built strong relationships with our state legislators and advocated at the Michigan Advocacy Conference for continued robotics support in our state. Building on our FIRST advocacy, we met with the Coda Robotics Team 1038 and FIRST in Ohio leaders, sharing our state grant advocacy toolkit and sustainability resources. This relationship helped develop initial stages of grant advocacy in our neighboring state, working towards expanding STEM opportunities for nearby FIRST networks. Every bolt we tighten in FIRST, we're tightening bonds that last beyond build season.
Now that we've built our foundation, we can add the mechanisms at the heart of our impact with Operation Outreach. The Feds have provided over 130 summer workshops over the past 3 years, serving over 700 students in intro and advanced skills, including mechanical, fabrication, CAD, programming, business planning, wiring, and public speaking. Advanced and refined curricula has generated positive results and feedback. Our STEM Cadets program bridges the gap between FLL and FRC, inspiring interest in STEM for more than 40 girls with peer mentorship to promote women's representation in STEM fields. We promote FIRST at school events, our local Christmas parade, PTSA STEAM fairs, and community organizations. We join the Atom Bots for their annual Hunger Walk and donate new and used items collected by our team to local organizations. We host an annual STEM book drive, donating over 1,000 books to Little Free Libraries. We introduced the FIRST Discover program to local preschools by visiting the Above and Beyond Child Care Center, the Lowry Center, and Oakland Family Services. Moreover, we are key contributors and donate to the Red Alliance, creating a hub for teams all around the world to obtain used parts and tools. Partnering with local student-run organization, Boosting Spirits, we donated 100 gift bags full of STEM activities and Legos to children stuck in hospitals over Halloween. Building on our HEAR initiative, our agents aim to improve the inclusiveness of students with hearing impairments by advocating for closed captioning and a sign linguist role on the volunteer list for all FIRST events. We ran a full successful year, mentoring our FIRST FLO program for students with hearing impairments with a 100% flow rate into other FIRST programs. Our Stay STEM initiative focuses on expanding STEM resources and opportunities for students with speech impairments using a picture book created by Casper and hands-on collaborative learning activities to promote articulation and confidence building. We piloted a unified robotics team within our school's special education program that allows students to enjoy, collaborate, and even compete with FLL Challenge Spike Lego Robotics, creating a positive STEM learning environment for neurodiverse children within our school district. Each connection made is another piece added to the robot, and to a future where STEM is for everyone.
After building our local impact, we can add the components that let us reach further out into the worldwide stage with Operation Global. For the past 7 years, we've built a strong connection with STEAMX FRC 6832 from Mexico through regular communication and collaboration. Our agents support STEAMX and their feeder network, inspired by the opportunity to share our love and resources in a place that needs it most. Over the past 2 years, we assisted STEAMX in starting 6 new FRC teams. These teams serve women in STEM and underrepresented communities across Mexico. The Feds co-hosted the FRC warm-up seminar with the Space Cookies FRC 1868, promoting the event and participating in many of its workshops. We advocated for closed captioning at FIRST events, promoting our HEAR initiative in collaboration with FTC Matrix in India. We sparked a virtual connection with Sigma FRC 9692 in India, sharing our impact resources and initiating outreach collaboration opportunities. We host an annual Peace Summit at Worlds to spark creative dialogue and expression about how FIRST values can make the world a better place. We worked with Timur Bistim FRC 10383 from Turkey on their video demonstration of the United Nations environmental goals. Each global connection adds a wire to the circuitry, energizing our mission around the world.
With global systems in place, our robot now needs the internal excellence that keeps everything running. Through OPEX, we bolster our impact by building systems that are sustainable. Each year, our team evaluates our effectiveness and identifies improvement goals, using data from surveys and interviews, a Pew matrix of team goals, and a SWOT analysis of each subgroup. This year, our goals focused on expanding our global impact, using regular build season evaluation to develop a competitive robot, and improving time in project management. To accomplish our sustainability goals, we developed a special project point system to maximize student engagement and ensure full team efforts towards our goals. Through annual leadership retreats and end-of-season debriefs, students learn leadership skills and give direct input on goals for the next season. Our operations manual has global site traffic, a result of refining years of technical and non-technical documentation.
As a result of networking and outreach with alumni, we've gained 11 new mentors this year. We've retained 10 sponsors, procured 9 new sponsors, and raised $30,000 through student fundraising. Projects in our OPEX portfolio align with both our team number and projects in our OPEX portfolio aim to improve efficiency, sustainability, and continuous improvement for our team and others. Our G201 project aligns with both our team number and the rule in the FRC game manual to be a good person. Agents activate G201 with projects related to reducing our team's eco-footprint. OPEX is our RSL, always moving forward to sustain our network and planet.
This robot now works because every single part came together, just like our team's impact, which brings together Operation First, Outreach, Global, and OPEX in order to expand our vision throughout the STEM community.
We're not just here to build robots.
We use robots to build people.
And we use robots to build better futures through STEM, service, and through every student we reach. We are Team 201, and our mission is not yet done.
Wow.
Underachievers. Wow, that is so, that's inspiring.
Inspiring. Yeah, I'm going to first see if any council members have any comments or, I think we're just all trying to digest right now.
Oh my gosh.
So,
We can't
right
keep
after that, we have a brief video we'll show. Usually at the event, the team that wins the Impact Award gets to showcase a 3-minute video. We'll play that, and then we're open for questions from you
Okay,
guys.
very good.
At first, it looks like just parts, metal, plastic, wires. But to us, each one holds a story.
This chassis belongs to the rookie team we mentored. This wheel, that's for the girl who touched a robot and said,
I didn't know I could do this.
with First, we give others a starting line.
Team 201 brings together the eager learners, the ambitious, the creative, but most of all, the curious.
And I kind of feel left out, but once I've joined FTC, I felt like so happy because I got to meet a bunch of like-minded people. 4, 5.
Team 201 tries to spread First message to as many people as we can in our community. In the past 3 years, we've helped STEM touch the lives of over 6,500 people.
We've connected Rochester Hills to robotics through over 130 workshops in 3 years.
We showed up in parks, schools, and libraries, bringing STEM to kids who've never heard the word engineering. One kit, one question, one spark at a time.
We crossed borders, building with teams from Mexico to India. It was never about robots, it was about connection, shaped by innovation, collaboration, and imagination, with STEM as our common language.
This is how we keep going. Fundraising, documentation, and leadership. Not flashy, but essential. We're building for the future.
We're really in it together, and that's one of my favorite parts because as the Feds, we're like a family.
We are Feds 201. And we don't just build robots. relationships. We build a better world.
We are Team 201, and our mission is not yet done.
Wow. That is very moving.
Yes.
Anyone have any questions? I mean, I think we're all just very wowed and are, now how do we get through the rest of the agenda? I think this makes RCS pretty special, that you have such a strong connection with robotics, and I think the history has been, you've gone into the elementary schools, and this has grown. I don't know if everybody understands how much this has been built in Rochester Community Schools. It's a huge piece of our community, and we really appreciate all you've done. And I have to put Jessica and Shashir on the spot to stand up, and you have been a moving force for this, so thank you both. Appreciated by all of us, and I'm sure all of the kids, so thank you.
Good job.
We're going to try and process a little bit of this, so you might see one of us at your competitions. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember
I was
King.
just going to say, a couple years ago, my daughter participated in the elementary program, the Lego League, and the robotics team was a big part of, I think, getting that together and, allowing the elementary students to do that. And then at their big show at the end of the season, the robotics team was there. They had one of their robots that was like, shooting basketballs or something, and the kids just absolutely loved it. It was a really cool experience. So I know that's a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
We appreciate all you've done. Thank you for taking time to come.
Thanks, guys.
Good
Thank you
luck
very
on
much.
your season.
Yeah.
Happy Keep us posted.
We, really quickly, we'd like to
Yes.
introduce this fundraiser to you. So
Sure.
Casper is one of our co-captains. We all love Casper. And Casper wrote a children's book.
What?
And this, I know. And he's been using this children's book to promote the Say STEM initiative that he started. And we're selling these books for $25 each to promote our unified robotics teams, which is a program that we piloted this year and will be growing in future years. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of this.
How do we buy them?
How do we get them? Yeah.
You can, I believe you can just Venmo or make a check out to STEM United, and Mrs. Gupta can help.
Like, where would the website be to do such a thing?
So we'll send you this slide deck.
Okay.
And there's that slide with all the QR codes.
One of them
So
is-
on there, you can just go to our website and there'll be a button.
We shall do that.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on writing a book.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Casper.
You
Thanks,
all
everyone.
excel a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, okay. That was a lot. That was great. This is such a feel-good section of the agenda tonight, because moving on now, we need Chief Demoff to come up because we are going to honor a firefighter for saving someone's life. So how about that for tonight?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members for allowing me a few minutes of your council meeting. I'm going to have Captain Coe, Lieutenant Wood, Firefighter Engler, Firefighter Carey, and Firefighter Osling, and Firefighter San Medino come on up here, please. They were recognized by HEMS, which is our Oakland County Medical Board, for a call they handled. I'm going to read the call for you and let you know what these fine firefighters did for this individual. They were dispatched to a residence in Rochester for a reported unresponsive male who was diaphoretic and not responding. While units were en route, dispatch notified the crew that the patient had regained consciousness and was breathing and speaking. Upon arrival, the crews found the patient reclined in a chair in the living room. He appeared pale, diaphoretic, and was in significant respiratory distress with labored breathing. The patient was unable to answer basic questions, which suggested an altered mental status. Supplemental oxygen was immediately administered via a non-rebreather mask. During this initial assessment, the patient suddenly became unresponsive and was found to be pulseless. Crews quickly moved the patient to the floor and initiated CPR. One cycle of CPR and the patient return of spontaneous circulation was achieved prior to us applying the defibrillator with a strong pulse. Following this, the patient regained consciousness but remained confused and responsive only to tactile stimuli, painful stimuli. Cardiac monitoring shows an SVT rhythm, which is a rhythm of more than 150 beats per minute. While being moved to the ambulance, the patient suffered a second cardiac arrest. Cardiac monitoring indicated a pulseless PEA rhythm, and there was no pulse with this. High-quality CPR was immediately resumed. The mechanical chest compression machine, which is a Lucas device, was applied to the patient, which delivers normal rhythm CPR consistently by machine, was placed on him. And then an advanced airway was placed to manage the breathing. IV access was obtained with epinephrine administered per the advanced cardiac life support protocols. The efforts were during the transport to HFR, where he received additional medical care. One of the challenges in fire and EMS is you don't always hear the outcome of the calls due to HIPAA violations and not being able to do a good follow-up with these patients, but not today. So the patient was diagnosed with a pulmonary embolism. He was admitted to the ICU at Henry Ford, Rochester, where he underwent a thrombectomy. Forget that one right many times. He was later transferred to St. John, Detroit. He was transferred to a rehab facility in Shelby Township. And I'm happy to report that he is back home, and actually he is here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Brian York. Those are the kind of calls that you as a fire chief like to hear, like to find out of after they've been done. You don't always know the outcome, but in this one we do. So Brian is here, and he thanks all of us and thanks all of you, and I thank my firefighters for the great job that they did.
Wow, we thank the firefighters. Nicely done. Do you want a picture up front?
Take a picture.
Yeah, we need a picture. Everybody, no, come on up front here, we'll take a picture. I don't want to be in it.
Aren't you supposed to be under me? You'll take the picture. Jessica's going to take it.
Have him come
There we go.
Come on up front here.
Can you have him come up too?
With the seal behind us.
With Brian?
Jessica's
With
gonna say-
Brian?
Brian, yeah.
With Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, for
Firefighter
sure.
Engler was not able to be here tonight because he was in class, so we'll go.
Right, go right up front here.
It's awesome. Awesome sauce.
Against the wall. Line up. Right? Let's line up.
Hold your, oh, never mind.
Brian, you can kiss anyone you want up there on the cheek. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go, guys.
Wow.
Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
That's awesome.
No, thank you.
That's a feel good.
Yeah.
We go home now?
We're done. Wow, we got a lot
All
going
eyes are on the two of you next. Yeah.
Christy, how you looking for all that?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's in a good mood.
Yeah, wow.
So we get the meeting minutes. That's what's right.
Yeah, that's when it falls off, the wheels fall off.
Give them a second.
You got there yet?
All right, on the consent agenda, we have the
Public comment.
Oh, thank you very much. That was so much going on. I forgot that we have to ask for public comment for anything that is not on the agenda. Does anyone have anything?
Except in the office.
Meg, anybody at home?
No. Did we lose that?
Is the Zoom on?
Oh,
It was.
it was up there, but she'll let us know.
She'll chirp in once we get moving here. Okay, so now approval of the consent agenda, consideration to hold the Arts and Apples Festival. Wow, we're talking about that already, September 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2026 in the Municipal Park. Consideration to hold the Men of Sacred Hearts 5K Fun Run, and consideration to request to hold the Run for Relief 5K Run. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented for A, B, and C.
Perfect. Motion by Councilmember Trent.
Support by Hauser.
Support by Hauser. All right. Roll call, please.
Jones.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Clauser.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Salvia.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
All right. We have no old business. We have no public hearings. We have legislative deliberation, consideration of a request to adopt the resolution for for us being a bird city, the designation. So just a little bit, and then I'm passing this over to city manager. When I was at the MLA conference last year with Marilyn, there was a table and the bird city people were there. So I started talking to them and followed up later with an email. She came and presented to City Beautiful, and we are going to take it on to be a bird city. We have a lot of accommodations, and city manager is going to talk about the resolution. Correct?
Yep, so a lot of us are birders. I think a lot of people are secret birders. They don't like to, talk about it, but when we came and I really didn't know about this. I'm a birder, and there's an app on your phone called Merlin, and there's millions of people that use it. You simply press the button and hold your phone up, and it'll pick up a bird from a half a mile in the air. It's amazing, and then you can learn all about it, and the goal is to get a lifer list where all these different species, so wherever you go, you're gonna get new ones. It's really fun. So kind of like Arbor Day, the Arbor Day Foundation, to become a tree city, there's a series of things you have to do, and we were educated from the representative from Bird City USA about there's 35 categories, and you have to get to like 13 of them. And so Janine Krupp from our City Beautiful took this on her own, and I don't think she's here.
She's here.
right
Oh,
there.
there you are. You come up. I thought you were. She should get the credit for this because she really got us
She's
going.
done the
Janine, come on
work.
up.
Yes.
Come on up to the mic. Come on,
Janine.
Janine. Come
Yeah,
on.
so she really got us going, and her and I worked together, and she drafted out the application, and it looks like we will qualify. And then one of the steps is to have this resolution that's in your packet. We won't read the whole thing, but that's one of the ways to get points. But more importantly, it's the mission, I think, that we have embraced unknowingly. This town's done a lot to qualify this. So we love adding, it's not just fun to add it to say we have another certification. It's meaningful. I think a lot of you got an email from Pat Kane this morning about the cat situation. And one of the things that motivated her on the cat part was in our neighborhood, I live right by Pat in Castell, we had a lot of songbirds. And the cats have to eat. And until we'd had a program, they were eating the songbirds, quite frankly. So, and she's noticed again, things are going. And so we took active steps which helped us qualify that we've already been aware of that situation. What can you do to stop nature from being nature, right? And then support the birds. And it was great to see the pond on ice today and see how many birds are in that pond. Within 2 hours, all the ducks and the geese and everybody are in there. Carl doesn't like the geese, but that's okay. So it's a great program, and I thank Janine for putting the work into creating the application, and I think we did a great job. And you want to just throw anything else?
Anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so. It was, yeah, 10 initiatives that you had to do, and yeah, most of them were already done, and then I did a couple that we have plans for this year. And
So what are the next steps? I know this was part of it, right?
yeah, that's one of the 10 that's mandatory, so before they go any further, we need that.
Yep. So baseline, we need to get through that, just like the Arbor Day Foundation. You had to have a city council resolution that established Arbor Day in your city. So that's one of the monarch butterflies, same thing, right? We had so many things that Maryland had to check all those boxes to be qualified. Then you get evaluated. And it costs us like $200 a year, but we get all this stuff for that, signs and education. And we'll just try to keep our populace understanding the importance of the bird world, the avian world in our not just our city, but around the country, obviously.
It's gonna work in nicely with the new nature sound amplifier. 'Cause
Exactly.
we already plan to have like QR codes to get to those apps like Merlin and eBird, so
Yep.
it's a good tie-in.
Will they be over there by the amplifier then?
On the signage?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and we have Bluebird boxes that the City Beautiful has sponsored.
Yeah.
We have some with cameras in them. Carl's got his own at his house. So you've got your park staff excited. Everybody that is a birder is excited. I met a gentleman who's a wildlife photographer sitting in a lobby somewhere, and he saw me looking at Merlin. He's like, "Why do you have that on your phone?" We started talking. He had 1,700 different species of birds around the world. And so it's a thing. It's a global, it's embraced globally to try to make this a better place. It's awesome.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Without
Just like
reading the whole thing, I'm gonna, did everyone get this in their packet? So
we did.
everyone has read it, and we're all supporting it. Okay, I'm gonna read, I feel like I need to read the end, so.
Perfect.
We honor their request that it, so without my glasses, bear with me here. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Rochester as follows. The above recitals are incorporated herein and made to be part of hereof. The City of Rochester, by adoption of this resolution, hereby shows its support of the Bird City Initiative. If any section, paragraph, clause, or provision of this resolution shall be held invalid, such invalidity shall not affect any other provisions of this resolution. And this resolution shall be in full force and effect upon its passage and approval in the manner provided by the law as of today. Do I have to take a roll call on approving this?
No.
I think maybe.
We need a
we do.
motion?
Okay, we need a motion to approve
Make
it.
a motion
I don't
to
have roll call,
approve
but you need a
the
motion.
bird.
Councilmember Salvia
Yeah.
makes a motion, Councilmember Clauser seconds it. Let's have a roll call.
Jones,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Clauser,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Salvia,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Okay, so it says basically adopted by City Council of the City of Rochester on this 9th day of March, 2026. There you go.
All right,
Now
thanks.
we can move to the next part.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Janine, for doing all of that.
Yes.
All right, moving along. Next, we have the consideration to approve a interlocal agreement with the City of Rochester Hills for real and personal property assessment administration services. Anthony, Marcy, whoever. I had Anthony written down. Marcy, please.
No problem. What a great evening. I
Yeah.
don't, mine isn't exciting like that, but we're happy to present this because, as you may know, under Michigan law, the General Property Tax Act, the city's required annually to assess all real and personal property within our jurisdiction. And for many years, we used Oakland County's equalization to take care of that need for the city of Rochester. But in 2025, the county passed 85% rate increase to the city, and while the council reluctantly approved that contract to avoid any disruption with our assessment cycle, the city council directed the finance team to find and evaluate alternative options. So as the memo details, after that review, staff recommends entering an interlocal agreement with the City of Rochester Hills to provide for the full assessment administration services, including property valuation, inspections, exemption processing, and Board of Review support. So that agreement would run from April 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2029, and provide financial sustainability, an option that would maintain professional assessing services. So staff recommends that council approve this agreement and authorize the city manager to execute it. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
I know you did talk about it on Saturday also. We had a preview.
Right.
Yes,
And I felt,
Councilmember Hauser.
when this came up last year, I think most of us felt like we had a gun at our back, and we had to agree to that. So I appreciate you doing what you've done, and the math here shows that we'll save $36,000 next year, and then maybe $38,000 the year after. So I would make a motion to authorize Mr. Band or the city to enter into this agreement with Rochester Hills for this purpose.
Motion by Hauser? Clauser? Hauser? Supported by Salvia?
No.
No.
Trent.
Support by Trent. Okay.
I was discussing.
I was just saying, any comments?
Discussion, question.
Yes.
So in comparison of services, what we're currently getting with Oakland County versus what we'd be getting with Rochester Hills, what would be different, if anything, from a resident standpoint or from the city standpoint?
So from a resident standpoint, it should be seamless, except on Board of Review time. So with Board of Reviews, they would, instead of being hosted here, they'll be hosted at Rochester Hills. So we'll have an information campaign to let everyone know that that is just, one of the changes that comes along with this transition. So they said that they might host July and December Board of Review here, but we are in some internal discussion. It may be confusing for residents to come during 2 of the Board of Reviews to the City Hall in Rochester and March Board at Rochester Hills. So we'll get that word out and make sure that residents don't have any confusion. And if they do, during the March Board of Review, there are actually 4 sessions. We have two on Monday, one on Tuesday, and historically a night session on Thursday. So there are, if someone comes here inadvertently, we would have plenty of time for them to go to Rochester Hills at a different session. So that is probably the only piece that the residents will feel differently about, location for Board of Review. But otherwise, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for both communities because, it's something new. But I don't believe that the impact is going to be a big hurdle to jump over, and we've done a lot of pre-work on it, so we're hoping for a very smooth transition.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I was on the council a number of years ago, I think former Councilmember Joe Vanella, where they tried to do the same thing. We looked for alternatives, and there were no alternatives, and we just had to take it. So I think this is a great alternative, and I fully support this.
Thank you. Councilmember Hauser.
Marcy, to follow up on Councilperson Salvia's question, how many people historically would attend one of these board review meetings from the city of Rochester? I mean, are they packed? Is it a dozen? Is it 5 or 4? How many people?
So I'll start with the easy answer. July and December, very few people come. Those are times when a hardship or a poverty exemption is addressed or some type of clerical issue for those. For March, you'll have a few more. Like today, I didn't get the full count today, but I think there were 4 people that I know of that had appointments. But you can come in without an appointment. So that was on Monday. So tomorrow, let's say that we have 4. I don't know if we will or not. And then usually the evening session has less than the day sessions. So we're looking at maybe 12 people.
Okay.
But that's just an estimate.
And I'm just thinking for like an inconvenience to have to go to somewhere else, we're talking maybe a dozen people in the entire city. So, okay, that's a number I can kind of live with. So thank you.
Councilmember King.
I'm just curious from like a technology standpoint, do we need to do something to be able to share information between the city of Rochester and Rochester Hills? How does that actually get completed?
We will be sharing our actual role with them. So they're on, it's maybe I'm talking like in acronyms, but we are on .net with our tax role and our assessing role. They are as well. So for every other BSNA application in the city, we're on the cloud. We're probably going to go hand in hand when the hills go to the cloud, we'll go to the cloud, but for right now, it's a transfer of information. It's not a big, heavy lift because we're transferring information from the county into our local .net anyway, and we do that frequently, so I'm not anticipating that it's gonna be a big lift.
Okay.
Everybody good? Any other questions? No? Roll call.
Jones.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Salvia.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thanks for all the work you all did to get this. Okay, next, consideration of the proclamation encouraging action to help save the monarch butterfly. I am going to try and read this.
Okay.
So here we go. This is a challenge, but I'm going to accept the challenge. Okay, this is the mayor's monarch pledge. Whereas the monarch butterfly is a iconic North American species whose multi-generational migration and metamorphosis from caterpillar to butterfly has captured the imagination of millions of Americans. And whereas 20 years ago, more than 1 billion eastern monarch butterflies migrated to Mexico. but in the winter of 2014, only 60 million made the trip. And whereas cities, villages, and counties have a critical role to play to help save the monarch butterfly, and the city of Rochester will play a leadership role by promoting and developing monarch habitat. And whereas every citizen of the city of Rochester can make a difference for the monarch by planting native milkweed and nectar plants to provide habitat for the monarch and pollinators in locations where people live, work, learn, play, and worship. And whereas, on behalf of the people of the city of Rochester who have already joined in creating healthy habitats for these magnificent butterflies, I am honored to lead the way by adopting the National Wildlife Federation's President's Monarch Pledge, and I encourage other village and city officials across our great nation to take a stand with me that the monarch butterfly will once again flourish across the continent. Now therefore, I, Debbie Jones, Mayor of the City of Rochester, Michigan, do hereby proclaim Monday, March 9th, 2026, as Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day in the City of Rochester. All right, we have to go take a picture out front here, and
Do you want me to get it? One of the actions.
Yeah.
You look like a designated photographer now.
Yeah. We do need a photographer.
Yes.
Seal? Okay.
That's what we always do.
all right.
Last meeting, I forgot to send them, so they don't pick you anymore. I know. I'm booted. You'd be like, oh, I got my phone. I'm off. Sorry. We're playing musical chairs.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, now, reports and regular business. Drum roll. The DDA is going to present, I think Christie's coming up, their budget, as well as PSD's budget will be presented. Do you want to start with a feel-good story of some sort?
Build a robot.
The last time you were here.
We actually have a 45-minute presentation.
With videos?
With videos, yeah.
Awesome.
With the scrolling bar moving very slowly.
How close? Okay, hang on. Just
Oh,
soft
so
shoe.
anyway, all right, so I'll soft shoe, I will freestyle. So, good evening, council, Ben Giovanelli, chairman of the Rochester Downtown Development Authority, along with our esteemed director, are here this evening to sort of give you a heads up as where we're headed with respect to the budget. Christie's going to take point on a 47-slide presentation. And then at the very end, I will get into the numbers. I kind of, as I often do for you guys, rejigger it into sort of a smaller, sort of a net number so you can get a little bit better feel of where our funding comes from and how we got where we're at. So again, this is just, you see what we have with our placeholders. We've been working, sending Anthony and Marcy a lot of add to cart requests with respect to budget. I know that both those guys are busier than water and wallpaper hangers for you right now. So, so they've been super helpful. So I want to thank the administration and the finance department for their help in this regard. So with that, Madam Director.
There you go.
There you go.
She made us perfect timing.
Thanks, Leanne.
Anytime.
Good times. Hi, everyone. I apologize in advance. My daughter brought home everything, and so I just need a little water because I'm coughing like a fiend. So I apologize in advance, but here we go. So tonight we're going to be presenting, obviously, our fiscal year 26 proposed or 27 proposed budget. A lot of it you already know because with Graham, that's our main project, but we do have a couple other things that we're working on this year. So I wanted to, I get to do the fun stuff and then Ben gets to do the numbers at the very end. So here we go. A few people who are at DDA have already seen this presentation. I tried to spice it up a little bit, but act surprised. So one thing that we talked about at our goals and objectives meeting was Lanyap. I think almost everybody was there, and I think you would agree that there was something a little bit different with Lanyap this year. In addition to the 45,000 of our closest friends that decided to join us and Channel 7 broadcasting live, it just felt different. I had so many people tell us that it felt bigger it felt like we leveled up in some way, that when people talk about, Campus Martius and their tree lighting and the zoo lights and all of the other big holiday events, we've always liked to think that we are a part of that group, but I think it really solidified our place there because Channel 7 kept touting us as the premier holiday destination in Metro Detroit. I don't know if that's true, but I will definitely take it. With that, just as a little fun thing, so this was the photo that Chief George sent me. I posted, as Marilyn will tell you, I posted absolutely the worst time. It was like 10:45 at night on Lanyap, and I just thought the photo was so good. So I went ahead and posted it, and then I really should have turned off my alerts because I didn't sleep a wink because my phone just kept lighting up like a Christmas tree, no pun intended. But by the time we were done, we had 1.4 million views on this one photo. Also a lot of incredibly colorful comments, including people accusing me of it being AI, and I quote, "Do better, Rochester." I really appreciated that one a lot. I love social media. Anyway, but overall, as time went on, you can see my date span is from Lanyap through Fire and Ice, that on our Facebook page, we had 3.7 million views of people checking out what was happening in Rochester for holiday season. And this is germane to the discussion, because then we started talking about, and we had a little bit of media over the holidays. These are people, it's not that they posted on a calendar that we were having any of our events, but actually took the time to write stories, social media posts, or in the case of our friends of Fox and Friends, came to visit and film us running down Main Street with a giant band. It was super. So, but it was a big year, probably our biggest year in terms of media coverage as well. So all this leads to the Big Bright Light Show expansion. So you might be thinking, the Big Bright Light Show is pretty big as it is. What in the world could you possibly want to do with it? So let me paint a picture for you. So first, we need to freshen the show. Again, I always look at Marilyn for my marketing. We haven't freshened the show in terms of adding anything new since 2011. So from a marketing perspective, we've been limping along nicely, because I will tell you that the question that I dread most from media when it comes to Big Bright season is, what's new this year? And I have soft shoed, I've tap danced, I've done a little salsa, I've done everything I possibly can. So we've added some colors to the show. Ooh, okay. We had some anniversaries thrown in there, sure. Channel 7 broadcasting live this last year really helped me, along with the 20th anniversary of 50 years of Lanyap a couple years ago. We really exhausted all of our resources of not expanding the footprint of the show while still making it seem fresh and new. We want to amplify our existing investment in the show. I do recognize that it is not inexpensive to put on the Big Bright Light Show, but conversely, it does generate 30 to 40% of my business's annual revenue in the downtown, so it is an economic engine for us. We want to focus on destination making, not decorating. This isn't about throwing more big bright lights on random buildings. One of the things that we talked about at DDA, we had a deep conversation at Goals and Objectives, was that if we say put the Big Bright Light Show treatment on 10 more buildings, would that move the needle that more people would come to say, oh, they did the same exact thing they've been doing for 20 years, but they did it on these buildings? I don't know that I can make that case, and so that's not what we're necessarily suggesting to do. But we do want to create those must-see moments to inspire return visits. Because one of the things about the lights is that we never want to get to the point of people saying, oh, I've seen it, I don't need to go this year. We always want to be offering something a little bit different. Just as you all know, I'm a Disney fan. They try to cycle through a lot of their key things every 5 to 7 years, because that's how they estimate, unlike people like me who go multiple times a year. Most people go every 5 to 7 years to Disney, and they want there always to be something new. Still traditional things that they know, but something new that's going to keep them coming back and not make them feel like, oh, well, I've seen that. So what do we know as we were trying to put together this idea? We know we are a Hallmark movie waiting to happen. I'm looking at Nancy right now. As we say that, it's been published in articles this last season. Quite a few people tell us we actually made a list of the most Hallmark-esque movies, or Hallmark-esque towns in Michigan. The word used most to describe Rochester at the holidays is magical. I see this in the posts, I see it in the articles, the blogs, the tags, everything talks about the light show being magic. Downtown gives main character energy. This was one of my favorite quotes. That was a fantastic article that was written, not just about the lights, but about downtown Rochester in general, and how downtown gives, quote, main character energy. And then we are known for memory-making moments. I think any of us who are on social media at the holidays, when you're scanning through your phone, inevitably you're seeing your friends and family posting photos of themselves, you're posting photos of people downtown enjoying the holidays here and making new memories. So, what we'd like to propose is a walk through a Christmas rom-com starring you. I didn't make that SAI. Okay. But you know, this is called The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, because that is the official kickoff song of Big Bright Light Show. Andy Williams' version. Only the Andy Williams version. It has been since the beginning. What we're proposing is an immersive holiday photo trail set within the glow of the Big Bright Light Show. It's designed to make visitors feel like they've stepped into a Christmas movie, which is exactly what everyone tells us we are. So we're going to create some special moments, as you would have in a holiday rom-com. The first one, the meet cute. So it's a 3D ornament bench, about 9 foot tall, 7.5 feet wide, that'll be placed downtown where people can take their special photo for their cute, little meet cute moment. Of course, there's always a giant Christmas tree, so we're going to bring in one of our own. It's a 16.5 foot tree for photo off. You can actually be literally under the tree, by the tree, in front of the tree, all around the tree. Of course, we have to have Santa. This isn't exactly the Santa that we have. I just don't feel like he's jolly enough, so we're working on that. But he's about a 15-foot 3D Santa, and all of these displays are three-dimensional. These are not flat. These are three-dimensional things you're going to be able to get your arms around. Hopefully not literally, but most likely. I've met people. And then you have that moment. You have to have that selfie, right? So we're going to be creating this photo frame, this three-dimensional, that actually will be positioned at the end of East 4th Street with the lights behind it. I've already talked to Dan's Excavating. They're like, okay, we'll figure it out. So you can get the lights in the background and all of that. And then, of course, at the end of any holiday movie, it's the snow. And what about the snow? We're going to bring back the Snowflake Spectacular on the Western Knitting Mill. It'll be 33 5-foot dancing snowflakes. They dance every 15 minutes to The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, Andy Williams' version. So, as anyone who might recall, this was actually, the Snowflake Spectacular existed for the probably year 2 through about year 5 of the show. Didn't dance to this music, but did dance to other music. Smaller snowflakes. Over time, the owner of the building shows that he didn't want us to put that on the building any longer, and so we repurposed the snowflakes around. So this is a full new show that would be put in. We have talked to the Mills as well as the Rewalds, and they're on board with us bringing this back to that. So, why should we do this? Obviously, we're creating a new attraction for the show. We're going to bring the show to areas of downtown that don't have the lights. So we're not putting these in areas that already have the Christmas lights that have had them for years. So we're going to be putting them on Walnut, on East University, and on East Street and Water Street. It creates social-worthy memory-making moments, and it builds on our brand, as Channel 7 says, as a premier holiday destination in Metro Detroit. But I know what you're saying. That's pretty, Christy, but how much? Wait for it. Here we go. So, for 2026, that'll be this upcoming season. The total to purchase, and we will be purchasing all this outright, the 4 displays that we showed you, the Snowflake Show display installation and Snowflake Show installation is going to run us about $65,000. This also includes maintenance, installation, storage, all of that, door to door on the show. But what's exciting about this is that in 27 and subsequent years, we're only paying to install the displays and install the Snowflake Show. You'll notice that the Snowflake Show first year is a little bit higher. That's because they actually have to install the infrastructure and the eye bolts and everything to put the snowflakes on the building. So the total investment going forward after the initial investment is only $15,000. You notice my little asterisk, this doesn't include any sponsorships or partnerships, which you know I always seek for all of these things. And we are talking to Western Knitting Mill and the Rochester Hills Beer Company, because obviously they will have a little bit more of a show than maybe some others, and they're willing to help with fund all of this. So this is our big new idea of something that we want to do. Obviously, the grant is going to take a lot of our time, but we don't want to miss the opportunity that if we have all these eyes on us, Channel 7 has already said, and I have to have lunch with the station manager just to confirm, but they would like to come back again this year, and there is discussion of it being an hour-long special this next year. So, this year. So, we're pretty excited about it. I think there's a lot of opportunity, and like I said, we haven't touched the show since 2011, and this is our greatest economic development asset for the downtown for what we do. think it's time to invest a little bit in that because I think that it'll pay dividends pretty instantly. So that's my fun and my sizzle, and now Ben gets to do numbers. There you go. Please enjoy.
Thank you.
Wah, wah, sorry. You get a hit of music?
Sorry, only Christie.
Sorry.
Oops, other direction. Oh, sorry. Escape. Oh, set me up.
I got you.
Need my tech support.
There you go.
All right, sweet. All right, so these numbers are all the same ones you guys have in your packet that's been
Thank you.
around. Again, we're here tonight to kind of tell you where our thoughts are at right now. This has not been before the board and not been voted on yet. Our mission here tonight is to kind of give you sort of where we think things are headed and gather feedback and then take that back to the board, which we will get on this 18th for our March meeting. And then, so you'll have it back in plenty of time. Nick, when does public hearing? May, so yeah, you guys will have it in plenty of time for May. So again, as Christie alluded to earlier, you know, most of our budget, you've already been, we were here under much different circumstances last time. It wasn't happy night the night we were here, so.
I tried once.
Yeah, I know, it's fine. So what I wanted to do is kind of walk through sort of, because there's some new council members and folks that may have not been through this process with respect to the DDA funding and the capture and that sort of thing. So I asked for sort of a 3-year average of what the different taxing jurisdictions, again, the DDA's funding comes from really the main funding source is the TIF capture based on property taxes in the district, some of which comes from the Rochester city and some of which comes from other taxing jurisdictions. So of the proposed budget, which is 26-27, so it'll be the second column there, and then 25-26 is the year that we're in presently. About $1.4 million in both years is the city tax capture. It's forecasted this upcoming year. Other taxing jurisdictions will be about $866,000. We do have the second tranche of the grant project funding. As you know, we got a chunk up front and then the second one. So that was moved from 26 to 27. There was a lot of movements between years because of how our project shifted, and I'll get that in a second. Local community stabilization, these are the state funds that we get every year. Interest income, while we had a pretty good capital balance set aside, now we're starting to spend it, so the interest is going down, so the administration provided those numbers for us. Cross-charge income, so the DDA bills out a certain dollar amount of its services to the city in, you know, marketing and that other stuff that has nothing to do with the DDA. And you'll see on the flip side, we pay out about $250,000, I think, or somewhere in that range. So and then the DDA source fundraising, this is what Christie was getting at. So with all the projects that we do downtown, the staff is second to none at coming up with ways to creatively generate funds for projects that we're putting on downtown. The jump from 26 to 27 is related to grant programming that's in the budget. And I don't know what the $1,100 in miscellaneous is. I have no idea. So, but as you can see, for our total revenue, estimated revenue for 27, our upcoming fiscal year, is just a tick over $3 million, $3,026,891. Of that, 48.7% comes from the Rochester TIF capture. All the rest of it comes from other sources, so a little less than half. And then you can see forecasted out for the next 2 years. So it's roughly half of the DDA's budget comes from tax capture, and the rest comes from other sources. With respect to expenditures, capital is always our biggest target for years. We've always had a 60-40 target on it, 70-30 being desirable. This year, that last year and this year, we got some timing differences with respect to which year the grant project is in, but you could see 80%, you know, we're spending this much money to redo a building, it's pretty easy to hit our capital target. But still, we're exceeding our 60-40 rule all throughout 2029. And then, as you know, 12/31/2030 is when the TIF expires. And so at that time, this council or future councils will have to decide the fate and the future of the DDA, but we will leave those to future decisions. Oh my goodness, good Lord.
I know, it was a lot of stuff.
I know. All right, well, anyway, long story short, and I'll email this to you. Oh, please do. I mean, I feel bad for
I know, no, it's just the way.
Mayor
that-
Jones, I mean.
I know, I'm really in
so
trouble.
sorry.
Although distance is better,
You
so.
can kind of move
I
it
got you.
around.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
This
okay.
way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it was a really big
All right, so,
slide when I tried to put
so
it in.
the bottom line here is that, and again, I'll send this to you guys so you have it, but the operations budget, so what we call operations is staff salaries and benefits, district maintenance, so this would be garbage pickup and snow removal and so on and so forth. Yeah, and then city services paid to the general fund, so we collect 75 grand roughly, and then we pay out 212, so that net delta is it's paying for Anthony and Marcy and Nick and everybody else. Office expenses, the rent on the studio, that's an annual expense, is $34,000. Biz dev, professional services, that's mostly audit fees, if memory serves, and some legal. We pay for the insurance in the district, and then district programming. So again, the programming as an expense is $68,000 current year, and then the forecast for the next year. Can you give me that way? Oh, there we go. It's too many lines to do. So the net change year over year, we're actually down, and the main reason for that is there was costs incurred in the prior year which are not being occurred from an overhead standpoint in the current year. But the good news is only 31.5% of our proposed budget is going to maintenance and overhead type activities. The rest is going to capital. And then as we've been having our discussions with respect to fund balance, been working with the finance department, and because we have doing some horse trading between fiscal years with respect to the Graham project, the ending fiscal capital project reserve balance is going to be roughly what we talked about earlier, but the years have changed. So we're actually showing a 723 in this year of funding going forward, and then 311 next year. And that 311 number should be familiar to you because that was what it was going to be in 2 years anyway. So as you know, the Graham, we're literally just starting construction, I think,
March 24th.
March 24th, yeah. So there's a lot of fur flying, and everybody's getting to it. We have a goal to meet, as you know, for the 30th of September to get our funding. So we wanted to make sure that we hit that target, so we need to get busy, as you know. How do we get to the next one?
This is the third slide.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, good. And then, again, I'll email this to you, but it's in effect, the TLDR, as the kids say, is that there's very little change in the operating overhead budget over the course of the next 3 years, from last year to going forward. Capital spend, as you know, the 900-pound gorilla in the room is the Graham. After that, we will continue all of our commitments to the city. We haven't changed anything. The administration's provided additional guidance on road stuff for when Main Street North gets going. So everything's been considered, and we're in good shape, and we will have sufficient capital fund balance to accomplish those objectives.
If I may, Ben, if you go back to the other slide, I think it's important for the public to hear, you still are making your commitment to the parking system, 326, I think, and then roads and everything else. So you kind of went over that, but I want everybody to know that there's still capital dollars going, and we have met, you guys have met with our staff about programming of the streets. We had a big push last year on the east side. Basically, every street west of Main Street is done. So it's still in there, the parking supplement funds that you guys give us, and again, the road projects. That money's still there on top of your fund balance.
Correct. And we've got the rainy day fund that's there just in case something pops up. So.
And you're doing sidewalks and things like that.
Correct, yeah, and then it also includes, the spend for the upgrade for Big Bright this year, all that's already in there. So again, we will refine the exact dollar amounts, like if you look at the GL-driven budget that was in your packet, we just sort of rounded up on numbers as a placeholder because we didn't know exactly what it was going to be. Now that we know, so that'll get all refined down. So we'll get all that tidied up. It'll go before the GDA board this next Wednesday.
Yeah, week from Wednesday.
Yeah, week from Wednesday. Hopefully pass. I assume it will, and then you guys will get it, and then we'll go from there. And the mayor and Councilperson Clauser will be, because of their involvement with the DDA, will be the first ones to know about it. So any questions along the way, this is, as you guys know, it's a 100% collaborative environment over here. So just any feedback, gladly take it, and then we'll take it back and run it up the flagpole, or up the light pole.
And I just want to confirm, so all that detail was in our packet?
Correct.
So we have line by line every
Correct,
single
yes,
thing?
yes,
And you said it might be tweaked a little bit, but
Yeah,
this is...
it's 98%, right? So,
Okay.
like, you'll see an even dollar amount for the gram. Now that we know what that is, the 3052, blah, 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 will be in
It'll
there.
be changed a little bit.
But you'll see the changes. It'll just go from one year to the next.
And to clarify, those numbers, I ran them by Anthony and Marcy, so
Okay.
they line up.
Okay,
So,
perfect. Councilmember Sullivan?
Yeah, so I think I heard you say this, Ben, so the new sizzle that Christie presented, the 65,000 for the Hallmark movie experience?
Yep.
That's in the numbers?
It's in there.
That's baked in the cake?
It's like the spaghetti sauce. It's in there.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Councilmember Trent?
Yeah, just a couple of questions. So you've got 3.791 expenditures for 2025, 26.
That's current year, yeah.
Current year, but your revenue was less. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
How does that work?
So recall, we have been setting money aside through our capital, it's in effect a fund balance, but it's a capital equipment reserve, or capital project reserve. That is a drawdown on that reserve. So in the current year, we are showing the money that we've been saving is not counted as current year revenue. It's actually from a prior year. So,
Okay.
give me the next page. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, right there. So, can you make this one a little bit bigger? Sorry.
No, you're.
Yeah.
Okay, so, scroll me that way. Got my co-pilot here. All right, so, scroll down. All right, so stop right there. So we're upside down, 2,013,442. But that doesn't include our fund balance from carryover from the prior year, so you add $2.5 million to that. So our ending capital project reserve fund balance is plus 508. Then that becomes the beginning balance of the next fiscal year, and then plus revenues, less expenses, equals ending sort of thing.
Oh, okay, so, and I, the additional lights and trying to mix things up, I understand what you're trying to do, but was there any problem then with, is that PSD? I know that with this went back, is PSD, for the PSD, is the Big Bright Light Show now fully funded by the DDA?
Yeah, with
And
the
anything,
existing budget that we're in.
And anything
that was all that
additional?
changed. Everything, it's owned by the DDA now.
and anything additional?
Anything additional,
Okay,
yeah.
so when you came and asked for, I just have to ask this, so you gotta explain it. You needed $1 million additional, you needed approval for $1 million additional for the GRAM, but you're able to add in another $65,000, light experience. So, and that's all fitting in here, and it's all good. Okay. All right.
Well,
Just-
the $1 million
And then I think in there you've got fundraising. You also have in the revenue, do you have fundraising in the revenue? That's the other question.
Yeah, fundraising's always an
I know, so, but, I mean, that's projected fundraising, just to be clear. I mean, I do books myself, so I just have to ask these questions.
Right, so what we came before council last time was project specific. It was $1 million more than what we had gotten approval for. That was to authorize us to spend that money and to authorize. So that's what passed last time. Now this is sort of rolling, cascading that all the way through. So if you remember, when we went through that exercise at the end of 2028, we had about a $300,000 plus of capital reserve balance, and we're still there. It's just, the years periods have changed. Because also what's not on here is the $684,000 that we got in 2024, the prior fiscal year, which was when the project was awarded by the county. And that's part of the fund balance. That's part of the $2 million.
Okay, well, I mean, I want to commend Christie and the innovative ideas that she's come up with to get more interactive and get more people on social media using that, like Campus Martius, just saying. Yeah, those are clever. I like it.
Yeah, they are the benchmark, for sure.
Yeah, they are.
I do support the extra, the 65,000 to, because I really do feel one of the things we don't have is driving people down those side streets. And I know you didn't talk about locations, but they all will be on side streets.
She said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, so they'll be on Walnut, they'll be on University, and they'll be on East and Water.
Okay, and then driving them down to the mills, I completely, and I think where maybe there was some, maybe there's some discussion about just approving 1 million because you were short on the gram and then asking for the 65,000, I feel like it's two different discussions personally, and I really think it's a good idea. Because I know when you talked about, well, let's put some, put more lights, why would someone go off Main Street to see more lights? I just don't think, now, would they go off Main Street? And getting the word out that those locations are there will be word of mouth, and people will go do it. I think it will drive people, and for those store owners, it's going to hopefully drive more people by their businesses,
My
so.
guess is the staff will have some pretty fantastic programming things to get people around.
To go around and
do
down,
that, so.
yeah. And to maybe get some of the chameleons of people off Main
Yeah,
Street.
right, yeah.
Like, make the Main Street move a little more by getting them go down the side streets.
One last
Councilmember Trent.
question, yeah. So just to clarify, is there going to be music playing on the mills all the time or not?
So in the evenings, when the show is aglow, so it'll be 5 to midnight, and we can adjust over there. There's no residential right now. It's not gonna be super loud, like you're gonna have to stand in front of the mill to hear
I
the
just
music.
wondered,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's not gonna be distracting, but it'll be about every 15 minutes. It'll start up, it'll do one round if it's the most wonderful time of the year with the things dancing, and then it'll stop.
Okay.
So 4 times an hour.
I just
Yeah.
wondered how the
Yeah,
the visitor experience was going, or the dining experience as well.
Yeah,
okay.
it's not gonna be, it'll be loud, but not super.
It's not gonna be like, walk.
Yeah, exactly.
That's part of our brand. That's part of our brand.
That's really, that's,
Councilmember King, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna comment, so I know you had to come for approval to spend an additional $1 million, but that's money that you had, the DDA had been saving, putting aside in the capital budget, planning for a project like the Graham. I just want to recognize, the kind of the diligence and the work that you guys did, planning for that and having the funds available, and being able to accommodate that, still, keeping a positive fund balance. And, it seems like once we get past this big project, there'll likely be a buildup of funds, and then we'll have to talk about what do we do next. So it's great. It's a good
Yeah,
position to be in.
It's a good problem to have, and again, we can't, as a TIF, we can't just take money to take money, kind of what Rep. Tisdale was saying about this, I wish I had $10 billion in the bank account, but same concept, right? So if the DDA under its TIF plan does not have a need for those funds, it's required by law to give them back. So we always have capital projects, as you guys know, there's always stuff going on in the district, so. But yeah, at 12/31/2030, which is our, sort of sunset, depending on what, next council, the future councils decide to do, but, it'd be flipping the keys so the Graham fully paid off, and, and with respect to the 65,000 in lights, that's also 50 of that's a capital expense. So going forward, it's 15 grand just to keep it.
Yeah,
going.
exactly. So next year, yeah.
I almost look at those, you have to look at those separately.
100%. So just to confirm, so today was just a
Informational,
drive-by?
drive-by, yeah.
And more so, if anybody really had some issues with anything, you could go back to the drawing board before you
100%.
go in front of the
Yeah, yeah.
executive board. And it sounds like there is no, my vibe is there's no great concerns, so.
Everybody's got my cell phone number, so, and both of us, just hit us up, and, we're as transparent as we can possibly be. so.
Okay. Principal
Thank you
Shopping
for that.
District.
That's
All
right.
right, I gotta switch over to that one, hang on.
Thank you.
This one isn't a presentation, I'm just pulling up the packet so that everybody can see it at home. It'll make the discussion a little bit easier for everybody. I'd like to invite Jill Lutz, she's the chairperson of the PSD. So she's gonna be joining us here. Hi, Jill. Hi there. Hold on, I'm getting our packets here. So if you want to tell them how we've had goals and objectives and all that good stuff. While I hold this up.
So last month we did our goals and objectives, looking at everything, with the full committee, going through where we were with, what we had talked about last year with council, trying to be cognizant of that, and then also recognizing where things will kind of play with the Graham and everything. So we've made some changes as we went along. Karen?
Sure. So what I had put into your packet, and it's up on the screen here, is I did a summary memo, just highlighting some of the changes. Behind that, you have the typical formatted PSD budget that you're used to seeing. And then something that had been requested by councils in the past that I continue to include until you tell me not to, is a side-by-side comparison of the events and promotions with the revenue and expenditure, so you don't have to keep flipping around trying to figure out what's going on. So I'll just run through the 5 key changes for this coming PSD year, and then happy to answer any questions that you have. So as you know, we always take it from top to bottom. We start at 0 and work our way up. And we're always looking at all of our events, and one that we've been keeping a keen eye on is Movies in the Moonlight. It's been going on for over 20 years, it is beloved, but we've noticed that the landscape has changed since we started Movies in the Moonlight. When we started Movies in the Moonlight, if you wanted to see a movie, you could come and sit with us outside, and about 1,000 people a night did, or you could go to the movies, or rent it, or stay home. Now there are streaming channels everywhere. You're walking around with a streaming channel in your hand. And so we've noticed over the last 2 years that the attendance, while still strong, is not close to what it used to be. And so as we were looking at everything and thinking, okay, maybe we need to take a minute, we are going to hit the pause button on Movies in the Moonlight. We're certainly not saying it would not come back, but I think we'd like to see what the community reaction is if we do go ahead and pause for a year and see if there is an outcry, or as we suspect, I think that it might be time to maybe envision something else. Something else that PSD had talked about is that everyone does love the movies, and so there would be an opportunity to perhaps incorporate a movie event element into maybe the Halloween Fest or into an event inside the Graham. So movies may still live on, just in a different form, but we're looking to take this year off. Also, the cost of doing movies has also increased as well, and so we just felt like the cost versus the benefit, as it's having sliding attendance, just didn't make any sense to us. So that's one big change. But having said that, another event that we're seeing growth in and that people have been asking for, we're adding a second night to Dancing in the Street. So as you know, Dancing in the Street takes place on the Friday night of sidewalk sales. We were inundated by people on Friday night saying, is this Saturday night too? We're like, well, no, because we do Movies in the Moonlight on Saturday, so we can't do both. And like, wow, I'd love to do this. The businesses wanted to do it, the people that were set up there, the restaurants, that food booths said, gosh, I'd stay for another night. This is great. A lot of the people in the crowd wanted to come back a second night. So we had programmed into the budget, taking some of the money that we were able to get from Dancing in the Street, or excuse me, from movies to move to Dancing in the Street. We have tentatively booked bands this year, bringing back 2 favorites. Friday night will be Space Cat, and Saturday night, Your Generation.
All right.
Stuart's favorite. So yes, so we're excited. So that's that's one big change for us. Anyone who's been around town for Dance in the Street has gone the gamut of different things. It used to be 4 Friday nights. Then it was just a Friday, Saturday. Then we moved it back to be a part of sidewalk sales. So it's been all over the map, but we think this will be a great iteration. And then we already have the infrastructure set up, so it'll be a great way to do it economically rather than having to set it up over and over on different weeks. Continued investment in the Fire and Ice Festival. We're excited. We think that we got off to a good start this first year, but we have a lot of feedback and a lot of ideas this next year. With the Graham being in play this year, that's going to be able to give us some other options to have that nice indoor venue that we'll be able to do some programming with, and then maybe reprogram dollars to do some other things. So we're excited. Nick and I are going to be talking to someone who's approached us about a different skating rink. It was modest. People liked it, but we knew what it was going to be. But we think we have opportunity for the future to do something like that, and then even more. Water. So I don't have a coffee fit. Here we go. Okay, so warming tent operations at the Kris Kringle Market. So since we expanded 2 years ago now, that's been going really well for us at the Kris Kringle Market. I don't know if anybody's attended, but people seem to like. It still does get a little pinchy on 4th Street, but there's not much we can do about that. But they have more opportunity. They can just keep going a little bit, and then they're in the big wide open space. Last year we introduced entertainment in partnership with the Roxy and actually had bands out there. And I think it's just because they wanted to stay warm, but a spontaneous dance party broke out, which is fantastic. And that was on Friday and Saturday night. Really gave it a different vibe to it. We saw a lot of new people coming to Kringle, and where that ended up in the warming tent is that we had lines out the door. We had people coming to us saying, hey, I waited 25 minutes. I'm not going to wait in the cold anymore to get in there. Talking with the LCC, they also said, with the amount of people we have, they don't think it's sustainable for us to run it with volunteers, that we need tip certified servers. So also with, as we've expanded it, our costs for Kringle have gone up as well. So we had a long discussion at Kringle, or at the PSD about Kringle, and opted that we are going to take over operations of the warming tent within Chris Kringle, within our own volunteers, hiring tips certified servers to manage the tent for us so that we keep it safe and we're within the guidelines, but also to keep things moving. We've already informed our two charity partners that we've worked with for years, Ra Ra and Ra Ya. They were very kind and understanding, and of course we said to them, we do things for charities all the time, so just stick around. I'm sure they'll come up with some other opportunities. And then last but certainly not least, this isn't a cut but an ad. Something that we've been working on, and we've been doing it casually, but we need to do it a little bit more formally, is we really want to add more video content to our marketing. We feel strongly that it's something that is lacking. We've done as much as we can from our cell phones, but we feel like we need to step it up a little bit and actually hire someone to help us do some video content at our events, putting in bite-sized forms, long form, things that we can use on the website and for other marketing things throughout the year. So that's the 10,000-foot view of what you're looking at in your packet. I'm happy, did I miss anything, Jill?
No, I think that the biggest thing for us with the Chris Kringle was also then looking at it and saying, if we can move people through, partially for myself before I got into my career I am in now, before that I ran restaurants. I had, multiple across the country. But like the speed of execution of getting people through there, we can easily double that profit center for us to be able to cover a lot more of the things that we do. So that was a big piece for us in looking and saying, okay, can we pay for a portion of dancing in the streets, and other things off of this? Because for those that are new, we have to, some of our events you're gonna make money, some you're gonna lose, so we have to keep balancing back and forth throughout the course of the year. So that was a big piece for us.
Chris, you can talk about the promotions committee helps guide the decisions from your surveys and stuff?
Sure. So in addition to, so we have the PSD board, but we also have a working committee called the Promotions Committee. This is part of our Main Street Oakland County structure. It's a national program where we have a committee that is made up of downtown business owners and employees. And they're the ones that come up with the ideas each year of types of events, things that they're hearing from their customers, things that they are seeing in other cities that they think would be of value. They have a mini goals and objectives on their own and then feed that information back up to the PSD board to review and see all of that. We do event surveys for every single event that we do. We do a survey of the businesses online to tell us, what they thought about it. If we're thinking of making any adjustments, we make sure that we survey people that are affected by that to see how they feel about that. And for instance, like movies, even though I don't know that would have moved the needle, but we have some dedicated sponsors that have been with us for, 10, 15 years for movies. And one of them said, I'm so glad you said that, because we would have kept sponsoring it until you stopped. But now that you're stopping, we'll go sponsor something else that you have, because we've been doing it just out of, tradition, but we realized that maybe things could be a little bit better spent for everybody. Same thing with all the events, just trying to make sure how's attendance spent, how are sales, are those two things meeting each other, or for some of the events that don't necessarily generate sales, but what are you hearing from the community, like Rochester Post, for instance. Doesn't necessarily generate dollars that night, but generates the goodwill in the community, the people coming down, the creativity, all of that. And then we think it does translate, definitely for the restaurants, for people stopping in and eating those nights. So we do a lot of that. Mm-hmm. But I did put in your packet, like I said, there is the standard budget as you're used to seeing, get in with all of the other numbers in there. And then I have this little goodie, which I know a lot of people look at because it gives you a side-by-side, as Jill was saying. Some things pay for themselves, some things pay for other things, and some things are a wash. So again, this is just what we've put together. We are happy to take back any comments to PSD and send them back. And I guess I'll just open it up from there.
I just have a quick question. Is Halloween, because I didn't see it on the last page, but the Halloween is on your other list,
It's there, right there.
Okay, but it's not on that, on the.
Should. Trick or treat Halloween, right here.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that was one thing, thank you for mentioning that. One thing last year, because we did move Farmers Market over there temporarily, and the Halloween Fest went with it. While we're moving the Farmers Market back during construction, because we found that we had it was a great site for us for the year, and we appreciate the opportunity to be there, but it had a few more challenges over there, so we're just gonna shoulder the construction and figure it out. But the one thing that worked really well there was the Halloween Fest. I don't know, if you don't have little kids, you probably haven't attended, but it is sort of a big free-for-all of just Halloween treats. We have, usually it's about 25 different community organizations and businesses that come and pop up tents and do crafts with the kids, hand out treats. It's really a fun event. We get about 1,000 people that come through the event in an hour and a half, so it's a lot. But what we found at the farmer's market is, in our usual trend, you kind of walk in, you can go every which way. Whereas for this, it was a nice big oval. And it really helped with the flow, and we heard from a lot of people, especially ones with little ones, that they just thought it was better organized, worked a lot, and contained, and people were able to find it a little bit easier than they were over at the farmer's market lot, because sometimes going down that hill, you can't really see what's coming, and so if you didn't know, that kind of thing. So we would like to leave the Halloween Fest there this year. It really doesn't cost us anymore, but I think it worked better, and we had better attendance, and we had good feedback from the nonprofit organizations that partner with us, that they had a better experience.
Councilmember Klauser.
Just one small question. It looks like pancakes and PJs goes away too, but it wasn't on your list.
Yes, pancakes and PJs. This current budget year, so last year, when Chief Cieslik had indicated he was retiring, we had talked about it, and he had said that because he didn't know when someone new was coming in, he didn't want to commit to it, because at that point he didn't know when he was going to be leaving. So this was back in September, so we pulled it off the calendar for last year. And so at this point, we're just gonna kind of keep pushing the hold button on that one, because I certainly don't want Chief Scott to be like, you want me to what?
He doesn't like footy pajamas, he said. So.
But there is an opportunity once the Graham opens, that there might be an opportunity to do something over there that doesn't put the burden on the firefighters, but that we're able to bring it back. So it's still on our radar, but just not quite yet.
We attend that one every year, so my kids will be very
trust me,
upset.
we love it. And the sad thing was the one that we did in '24, I feel like we really hit our stride. That was when we brought in Santa.
That was good.
So many people commented that was just magical, couldn't wait to come back. It's a good one for us, but just with everything, how it worked out at the end of the year, we just didn't feel comfortable trying to pull it off, not knowing who was gonna be where. Oh, hi, it's your first day. How do you like pancakes?
The Grinch, do you like the Grinch?
Yes.
One other thing, the Small Business Saturday, I saw that you had income last year from it, and you don't this year, so just wondering what changed and how you.
So we didn't have income, we had projected income. The challenge for us is that we put out quarterly marketing kits with people that there's free opportunities and there's pay-to-play opportunities. And we try to break it up so that people don't look at it and say, okay, I can't do anything, or I'm gonna do a couple things. Holiday is such a challenge because there are just so many offerings, and inevitably, it seems like the one not so sexy one doesn't get chosen to go to the dance, and it seems to be Small Business Saturday, most unfortunately. So we're still gonna try to get sponsors for that. We get a sponsor for the tote bag, but at this point, we decided to take it off of our revenue projection, so it'll be a happy accident if we can find it, but it seems like people wanna invest in other things. So that's where we are. We don't want to keep putting a number out there if we just can't seem to sell it, so.
Thanks.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm really excited to see the addition of the second night for Dancing in the Streets. I know, growing up, like, that was such a big event in the community, and we loved it, and my kids have enjoyed going to that. So I'm really excited that you guys are looking to expand that. So
we're excited, and like I said, it's one of those events that we've kept our eye on, and one of the things that my team and I have done the last couple years is usually about like 8:30, 8:45, when the band's really ramping up, we go and walk the streets to see who's still open, and if they are open, are there people inside the businesses? And the last 2 years, that's exactly what we've observed, and a lot of the stores are staying open until 9:30, 10 o'clock because they still have people. If we had walked around and saw that nobody was open, we might have had a pause about that, but it seems like this last couple of years has really hit its stride again, and we're kind of excited for it.
Not even at the Sunday. We had talked about the Sunday.
Yeah.
With everyone, a lot of the businesses are staying open later on Sunday, purposely knowing that everything on that weekend, so it's a good weekend for all businesses.
do you have a calendar of dates for everything?
I do, I can email it to everybody. Yeah, we
That'd
do
be
have a
great.
tentative calendar for dates, yes.
Councilmember Hauser.
Sure, thank you. Just a couple quick questions here, and I always go to this page.
That's why I keep including it until you tell me
I'm going
to
to
stop.
telegraph my question to you, because it's probably the same one as last year, but I noticed that, you're going to increase spending for the video content to enhance the overall market, and I know you have this the awareness, which I think is that at Christmas time, you have the commercials.
So it's it's the television flight as well as it is the business directory
Right.
that we produce for all the
Which are
businesses.
really good, and so I'm always challenged by the $80,000 spent on the magazine. When is there a time to say, okay, maybe magazines are a thing of the past, and let's
Absolutely.
focus on that?
Trust me, the work that we put in to make that magazine,
It's
I
not
would be,
worth it, right?
yeah, no, it is worth it, because
Really?
yes, we actually had to upsize this magazine because we sold more ads for this upcoming spring issue than we've had for the last several issues. So when it's, like I said, with movies, that ripped my heart out because I created Movies in the Moonlight. I love that little event like no other. Same thing with the magazine, but I'm telling you, people love it. People come in looking for it months after. Advertiser-wise, we sell out. We had ad pages to accommodate.
Do you think it's time to raise the price of the advertising then? Because, I mean, it costs 80 grand and it says here you're making 30. You see what I'm saying? I wonder if you could get some parity in that number.
We can talk about that, certainly. I mean, spring issue's already, out the door in terms of ads, but it could be something to talk about for the future. But even if we are gonna raise it, whenever we've raised it, it's been $50 or $100, so we might net out a couple $1,000s if that moves the needle enough. But we found a print company that's held our print price, which has been great for us. The only thing that really impacts us is the postage.
And you're
'cause we can't control
confident,
that.
with the Fire and Ice next year? Meaning that it's, again, 80,000, 26,000. I'm just trying to, look at those discrepancies.
Sure, so what you have, the one thing about Fire and Ice, and this is, we tried to mirror Fire and Ice the way that the county did it. So, the generated revenue is from the ice sculptures that we sell to the businesses. It's a wash, so it's money in, money out on those. Let me go back, I did wanna show you guys one thing though, hold on, let me go back up here, if I can find what I'm doing. Let's see here, Fire and Ice, right here. So you'll see right here that our revenue was 20,000 and we're going up to 26,000. We've already secured, last year, at the last minute, because, Fire and Ice was just kind of coming on, we were able to work with our friends at Chief Financial to come on as a sponsor. At a $6,500 level, when we were working out our annual agreement this year, they increased their contribution to 10,000 because they found the value in that event. So that's money in hand. So while we are trying to increase a little bit, we increased our revenue as well. I put the 80,000 just because I know there's some things that we need to do, but with the Graham coming online and us looking at some opportunities that we might be able to take some of our hard costs out, like there's a lot of discussion going on about the beer tent, because there's something about the atmosphere, but also, this last year was 20 below, and that was a little chilly. So, we have to balance the cold with the atmosphere and all of that, some of the rental things that we did. Fire and Ice was always free, and we want to keep that going. So other than, food and beverage, we don't charge for anything. We also have been conservative. They used to have fireworks Friday and Saturday. We only did it Saturday. So I think this year in January was a learning year for us, and I think we already have some ideas of ways that we can improve, and sometimes when we improve, we streamline in terms of budget. But I don't think I'm gonna have that streamlined in the next month, so that's why I'm putting it in and making sure that we have a little bit of wiggle room. Because even with everything that we're delivering, we still have $30,000 that is unallocated right now in this budget that we've built, so that as opportunities present themselves, that we're able to pivot and take action on those things. Of course, we come to you if we're gonna make any big moves like that, but yes.
That's it. Thanks very much.
Of course.
And I would say too, on the magazine, one of the things when I talk to the business owners, that's really it's more, you gotta see it more as the coffee table book. It's being delivered twice a year. People hold on to those when they get delivered to their homes more often than not. And now all of a sudden that becomes the place where a local merchant can now put an ad in for a decent price and have it be in someone's home for 6 months till the next one comes out. So to the local merchant, that's a huge way to get out to the community. I know there's a cost to it, and I know that it seems like it's a lot, but to be able to get out there for our local businesses is a huge piece. And then on top of that, when you start really looking at where the millennials, the younger millennials into the zennials are starting to move away from social media in a lot of things. They actually want the magazines again. They want the print. they want to see those things. So our younger people that are moving into even some of the apartments that will be coming and being able to afford things like that, I think it's going to be a benefit for them also.
Thank you.
Jill's a realtor by trade, if anyone.
Like, just in case you weren't sure. I was like, that's kind of, housing's my thing, so.
Any other comments, questions from council? Okay.
Good job.
Guess we're good. Thank you.
Oh, Vicky, did you want to, I didn't bring the flyers, but you want to talk about Foodie February? So something you might notice in here is our Foodie February promotion. So this right here, it doesn't generate any revenue, but it was something that we started during COVID. And we've had moderate success with us. We actually won a national award from American Express the first year that we did it, for their Order In, Eat Out Challenge. And over the years, we've been doing pretty good with it, and last year, I think that we generated about $13,000 in receipts. The idea is you dine, buy a coffee, anything, get a cookie at home bakery, you shoot us a text photo of your receipt, and then it comes back to us. And it's just a way in February, because it's kind of slow, to try and give the restaurants a little shot in the arm. So this year, something that we've been working on is that we started in concert with some of the restaurants. There was an interest in getting together a restaurant committee. A bunch of the restaurants are feeling a lot of the same pain and wanted to see if it was similar in other restaurants and how they might be able to work together. And we met in January and talked about that, and one of the things they want to get off the blocks, we already had Foodie February going, and through the help of the restaurants, they told us they always wanted to promote it but didn't find the opportunities. It just got busy and they just couldn't do it. So they told us if we provided them with social media posts that were already done that we could email them, they could just throw up there with verbiage of what it would say. If we had badges, like little buttons that their staff could wear to let them know, postcards for their checkouts when people give you your check at the tables. They put posters in their windows. We did a Server of the Week contest, so we draw, in addition to now doing daily drawings for downtown restaurant certificates, we'd also do a Server of the Week. And then at the end, the restaurant that had the most receipts texted in, they got a free quarter-page ad in the magazine. So this year, as I mentioned, last year, we were feeling pretty good. We had about $13,000 in receipts. With the support of all the restaurants and the posting and everything that we did, we generated $86,000 for our businesses. And even more fun, we didn't have to use our $1,500 to buy gift certificates because the restaurants were so generous. They donated enough, so we could put our money into the collateral materials, the posters, the postcards, the pins, all of that.
That's awesome.
So our investment was $1,000 with an ROI of $86,000 for the restaurants, and we think that can only go upward. Our goal, of course, next year is to get to 6 figures, because this is our first time out of the gate, and we were getting people that never participate in our stuff. Rito at Silver Spoon, he showed up my house and said, I need a poster. I'm like, what do you need a poster for? He said, this foodie thing. I'm like, oh my goodness, yes, here, take it all. But yeah, everybody participated this year. It was really great. So we, it was a good one.
Success. Great success.
But yeah, but it's just another example. Everything we do, it's all collaborative, and we get people together to do things. You just never know what might happen. So that's us.
That just inspired me to have one comment, Mayor, if I could.
Yes.
So I love the idea of recognizing the servers, because that's one thing that we notice draws us to different restaurants, bars, whatever, is the servers and the wait staff. So I think anything we could do to highlight them, like my husband Joe thinks we should do a calendar of the servers in Rochester. So I'm not suggesting we do that, but some way to recognize the excellent service, because that's what keeps you coming back. It's the food and the service. It's Joe, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. I think we're set then. I think everybody appreciates what you've put together and move forward.
We'll see you in
Awesome. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it is time to receive reports from the various boards and commissions. The first one is me. I have my notes here. So we have a youth council on Raya, and all of our youth council, all 6 of them are seniors, so they all are departing, but they have done a really good job of recruiting. So I think we have 2 from Adams, 2 for Stoney, 1 from Rochester High. They have been the best youth council we've had this year. They've worked really hard. They fill part of their job is to fill the fridge. So they go and they shop for items, and then they fill the fridge, and they've taken that really seriously and done well. We have our annual youth recognition evening. that is over at, it's on 316, it's over at the Calf Barn. We are honoring 33 students. I highly recommend if you guys can come. It's really, it's an awesome night. The superintendent reads their names, the dignitaries come, and we have the sax quartet from Rochester High that plays at the beginning of the event. We have a keynote speaker. And then you hear what these students are doing, and it's very moving. It's a great night. And then we give 2 scholarships every year, so we've picked the 2 award winners, and it has to, for our scholarship, it has to be someone that's overcome some sort of adversity and shows a need. So we did that, and then this ties in with RARA. Also, RARA does a camp safari, and it is a low-cost camp. And Rochester Area Youth Assistance supports that camp with funding of our own and funding that Rochester Hills gives to us, and then we pass on to the summer camp. And it starts on June 15th through August 14th. It is only $20 per week per camper, and they have a bus. They added a route last year, bus that goes to Rochester Estates Clubhouse, Northridge Apartments, and Hampton Elementary School. They pick the kids up, they drop the kids off. So you have to prove need, but if you know of families that are in need and they're a single family working every day all summer, their kids get to go to this every day, and they do fun things and they do field trips, and it's amazing. So pass that on. And then on to the ZBA, and Sarah, I don't think that counts, so we're kicking it over to the city manager.
So it was the first part of the meeting was really easy. 139 Romeo is where the lamb shop was. Planning Commission approved a new project. They demolished the lamb shop. They're building a mixed-use building with retail. We don't know who the retailer is, but retail on the first floor, 2 apartments on the second floor. In order to get ADA access, when they worked with Randy, the only place you could do that and get into the building for the retail is around the front. So there's a lot of detail, but in the B1 district, it says you should have landscaping in front of the building. So the Planning Commission considered all that, but you have to have ADA accessible nearest to the front door. The only way to do that was to put a space, just handicap space, in the front. Right now, presently, there was always 2 spaces that weren't necessarily handicapped, and there was never a buffer from the sidewalk back to the building in the old lamb shop. So when they designed the whole thing, we found a way to get 1 handicap spot there so you don't have to come down the driveway, blah, 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 blah. So it was an easy one to support, so we wrote the recommendation to support that because there was a buffer being created against the building with landscaping behind the sidewalk. So ZBA granted that, which now allows them to seek building permits to build. The second half of the meeting, I'm gonna try to put this nice. We have a commissioner or 2, maybe 1.5, that are very, we'll say, detail-oriented. So they didn't like the fact that for 30 years we've been using this checklist that says if you were to approve this request, there's a whole bunch of things, A through double J or something, that you could use as a reason. Because remember, Zoning Board of Appeals is autonomous from City Council, from anybody. So if there was ever a problem with the Zoning Board of Appeals, you have to go to circuit court to fight that. You don't fight the city, you don't sue the city, you don't sue the ZBA, you go to circuit court. So when I write the report, you have to be very careful about what you put in the writing, because that record is the final answer. You go to court, you can't change it. You have to put in writing what the reasons are you recommend it, or certainly if you deny it. So they were looking at changing some of them that they felt were outdated. Work with Vidya, who's an expert on ZBA. She's like, sure. And then one of them came up with, why is there a staff recommendation at the bottom of the report? So I do something called the findings of fact, just the facts on the site, dimensions and the reasons and all this good stuff. And then when I got here, they didn't do that back in the day. Ken Johnson, when they ran the ZBA, Berkshire Royal was the planner. They didn't do it the way I've always done it. They put together a planning report, and then the ZBA just did what they wanted to. When I got here, Mr. Vitrano sat me down. The way we did it in my form was we felt staff should be accountable for backing why you're suggesting this, because certainly the ZBA members ask, what does staff think about this? So we put together a list at the bottom that says staff recommends approval or denial for the following reasons that we could go to court over. So after a lot of discussion, about an hour, they said, what if you didn't make a recommendation? Makes my life really easy, and if they want to deliberate, they better have really good reasons. We explained to them, and Bill Thomas is our chairman, he's very, very knowledgeable about this, and he's like, we have to make sure we can't just frivolously say something now. We're gonna have to write down every reason, every word, have it checked. I might have to have the attorney involved now to make sure they're not saying something that's gonna get us in trouble. So it was kind of interesting. I said, I don't need to put a recommendation at the bottom. We felt for the last 17 years, that's the right way to do it. And we've never had one issue. So we're gonna try it and see what happens, but we'll make sure, Vidia's gonna weigh in on that too, to make sure they don't just randomly, we have a couple of wild cannons on there, they just kind of talk. You can't do that in that committee. It's got to be very structured, or else you're going to get in trouble. And Sarah, yeah, you're going to join us, and you'll be the reasoning, so we'll be.
I'm the
Sounds like a fun time to join.
Yeah, good time to join.
I'm the alternate, so I only vote if there's not.
Right, so there's 7, but 5 can vote unless you're, yeah. But it was a fair discussion, and
Be interesting.
we're going to try it.
Call and make
That's
sure
it.
everyone shows up.
So-
Councilmember King.
So I understand we've done this for a very long time. Have we, and McKenna, had they weighed in on, do cities usually make a recommendation? Like, what are other
Yeah,
cities?
it's 50-50. Some do, some don't. Some were afraid if they didn't have the qualified person to write it, then they're going to get in trouble in court. As long as you follow the protocol. So not everybody does. Big cities all recommend approval. Some of the little towns, they want that. I don't know why they think it's control, if they can make up something. It's a little scary to me, but we'll go with what
Give it a try.
they want. You give it a try.
Councilmember
yeah.
Trent.
Yeah, I just have a question. Is it up to the ZBA whether they want input or not? I mean, are they that autonomous? I mean, does the
Yeah.
city council have anything to
Nope.
do with what they do? You just have a total separate, they do it
decision.
all.
And it's that night, that meeting,
Yeah.
we have verbatim minutes basically taken.
They have
Jeremy's been helping, we're even using AI minutes so that it doesn't miss anything. And, yeah, so the petitioner makes their case, I read the findings of fact, they make their case, and there's deliberation, and there's not a lot of horse trading. It's either, you have to have a reason. It's gotta be a dimensional variance, you just can't say, oh, I'll give you a good example. The big one, everybody tries, and now they don't even come anymore, because I can tell them 100% of the time, it's gonna be no. And I don't wanna waste their $500 plus their plans. Lot coverage, we stick to 30%. People have come in for 0.9%, 267 feet, they need lot coverage over, so they can build a little bit bigger garage. We never say yes, because you're opening the door for precedent. That is a wicked board on precedent. One time you do it, you have to be able to back it
Right.
and say why you did it on this specific site, so, yeah. So it's very legal, if you
I
will.
have a question that, go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, I was just going to say, for historical, when I was first on council, the administration gave a recommendation on every single city council agenda item.
Wow.
So it'd be like DDA budget, it'd be
Interesting.
administration
Wow.
recommends you pass that.
Wow.
Interesting.
People didn't like
That's
that.
a lot, no, and that's a lot of labor.
A lot of fist fights with staff in the council.
Yeah, like you would just need that. A question back to the lamb shop real quick, because they came in front of planning already. But I think they just came the first time in front of planning.
No, they got through it, and then it was a conditional approval. If they got the zoning board waiver, they could build it as is. If the zoning board somehow turned it down, they would have to redesign the whole site.
Okay,
But
so it was a
conditional
conditional waiver.
approval.
I didn't remember that part, so I thought, why did they come in front of us for approval, then go to ZBA? Okay, that makes sense then. Okay, moving
That's
on. Historical Commission, there is no report. Planning Commission is next, and that would be me, because Mr. Hauser.
Oh, I'm ready to do it.
Oh,
Yeah, I watched it even though I was not in town.
very
Couldn't vote
good.
when he was on.
Then please.
Sure. Okay. This is the Planning Commission from last meeting on March 3rd. There were several items that were discussed. One was facade change at the Main Street Billiards. That was resolved. Second was payment in lieu of parking for one spot. There's a candy store that's opening that will occupy part of the space at the Shamrock Travel building. So Planning Commission agreed to approve the payment in lieu of one space. There was discussion and approval of a revision to a site plan regarding a new development on South Street. They were changing the material on the border, on the ground floor, on the bottom of the building. And then fourth was Planning Commission granted an extension to a site plan for property located at 1120 North Main. That's the DeMarco building over just north of Ludlow there on Main Street. Morgan Stanley Building, that's right. And then at the conclusion of the meeting, there was a very robust discussion. Richard Kensick, the new chairperson, has, with input from the other planning commissioners, established some goals and objectives for the upcoming year. Some of those in no particular order are master plan and aligning that with our zoning ordinances, discussion of potential design standards, discussion regarding a study for sustainable housing, training for new members, and then updating our bylaws, which we've already formed a committee. That'll be Mayor Jones, myself, and Commissioner Bachman, to look at our planning commission bylaws, which I think are last updated in 1984 or 83, I believe.
Yeah, wow.
And so we've already started to do that. And Anthony, Mayor, I've sent him over to Anthony, and he did a fantastic job with his computer and his stuff that he does with his AI. Yes.
Magical AI.
His
magical
AI, yes, it's proprietary to Anthony, and then sent it back. So I'm confident that we'll be able to present updated bylaws for Planning Commission by June 1st. And that's all I have. If there's any other questions for planning, I'm happy to answer.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Principal shopping district would be, we don't have a council member yet as a liaison, so please ponder that, everyone up here. Did they pretty much discuss the budget, or were there other things?
Yeah, we just talked about, there's one other thing we talked about. It was, the Makers Market, that will be brought to city council for review. And then the Main Street Oakland County Breakfast. We get invited all the time to that, and they take a whole team that goes there. So we're very thankful for the money that they do give to the city. So we participate in that, and Christie takes a team from the board, and they go up there and they sit at round tables and talk about their experiences with other communities. So they all signed on for that, so.
What date was that? You don't have it written,
yeah,
that's okay, I'll check with Christie, not a worry. Okay, OPC, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, we had a meeting last Thursday. We talked about resident, non-resident policy, which is still, we're talking about some classes that are too full, but that's a long, involved process. We had the audit, and we had a successful audit, and just a point of reference, we talk about fund balance a lot here. The fund balance there is like 6.5 million, but they are not, OPC is not allowed to borrow money or finance it or bond or anything like that, so any capital project has to be paid out of that, so we have to keep building it up and stuff, so it's really strong now, because I remember one time years and years ago, it was a lot lower than that. So the audit was very good. Public transportation amendment with OPC in Oakland County and Dutton Farms, we kind of did they're not allowed to buy buses, so we bought a bus and then gave it to them, and then we got reimbursed by the county. So it was kind of a win-win for everybody, and help them out, which I think was a really good thing. And then we're having strategic planning meetings coming up with different groups. And then the summer soiree, which is the big fundraiser for Meals on Wheels, is June 19th. So if anybody would like to attend, and that's it.
Awesome. No general miscellaneous public comment. Any other public comment? Anyone online? Okay.
That's personal service. I like Kansas.
No one
Yes,
online.
right? The high tech, yeah.
Okay. City clerk?
Nothing
Can I
tonight, Your Honor.
ask something real quick here?
No.
Do you have one more?
Yes.
Okay. One more meeting for the city clerk. So, you didn't want me to say that, but I did. City manager.
So today, the ice went off the pond. So if you go, the ducks are back and happy in the pond to see. So we made it through a very successful winter of, Carl and his team, they kept that pond open. They must have done it 30 times, and that's the longest ice skating season we've ever had. It was very much used and very much appreciated by the folks. And with the bathrooms being open next to it, that helped also. So that leads well into next winter, where we hope, if we have something like that again, then we can get maybe the concession stand open up in there and make it like it used to be. I think everybody remembers back in the day. Yeah, it was great. And then I got invited, and we're going to get our key staff together in about 2 weeks, I think it is, with everybody at the county, it seems like, in parks, about the actual details of the plan that we agreed to tentatively. So we want to make sure we don't give up control over that natural park system. They're going to now lay out, they've been doing their due diligence, what they want to do and what they want to do to help us. So we're going to have a massive 2-hour meeting set up, and I'll let you know. It'd probably be at the end of, not next week, the week after that. So I'll report back to council. The nature preserve that we got into the agreement with them. So now tomorrow is my fisheries meeting. We have the meeting with the most governmented, regulated group of people we've ever met. That's tomorrow, and they're going to talk about, did the school board purchase, Oakland County, purchase the school board's former piece, and then that's all going to start to tie together. I think they're getting ready to actually say what they'd like to do with Bloomer. Ours is pretty non-committal, but we want to hear what they're actually planning. So we have all of our staff, Nick and his whole team will be there, so I'll report back.
Any update on the Clinton River Trail?
Nick, do you know, I know the bridge got set last week.
No, the
Clinton River Trail. So, yes, so the one's done, the short one on the asphalt, they'll pave that. It worked out great. Seal signed off on it. They got the toe rocks put in. And then they started on the other trail, and they can't get compaction in this weather. And with blue clay, it's got to be compacted to a certain density. They're like, we're not going to waste your earth and mess it up. So they delayed for 3 weeks? A month. So then they'll start that, and when they get going, they'll stay there until they get it done.
They will be able to, because there was a whole discussion about.
Yep, mobilization stuff, but they're good, so, yep. Yep. And then the bridge they set the bridge, so they're making really good progress on the Paint Creek Bridge, 317. So hopefully they're on schedule for that too.
When's that going to be open? Paint Creek?
Into June? Is that?
The bridge will
Yeah.
be the end of this month, but they're still waiting on some supplies.
So I'll bet you mid-April maybe, at the worst?
Bike it through in no
Yeah,
time.
that'd be nice.
City Attorney?
Nothing, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I'd just like to say we had 3 Saturday budget workshops that I think were very successful. I think we're pretty much finished or close to finished with the budget. So I want to just thank all the people in the back row who really put a lot of work in and gave up 3 Saturdays. So thank you very much for that.
Back row.
That's it.
Councilmember Trent?
I agree with that, so add that to my thank you to the Rochester Regional Chamber for another successful Community Outlook breakfast. And we had Mayor Jones, Mayor Barnett, and Superintendent Russo, and Superintendent from Auburn Hills. Avondale, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it was very good, and really enjoyed it.
Nothing for me tonight, thank you.
Councilmember Salvia?
2 things. One is, I don't want to forget that March 22nd is Founder's Day for us at the Cat Farm.
right.
So I know the Historical Commission normally
Thank you for saying
talks
that,
about
yeah.
that, but that's coming up before our next council meeting. So I know that's out on the city calendar and things like that. And then also congratulations to the Stony Creek cheer and Crystal Williams, their coach, back-to-back state championships.
Yeah.
So remember, they have those big rings that they get, so I'd love to see the second ring. So that is it. Thank you.
Councilmember King?
Nothing this evening.
Councilmember Clausen?
I just want to note that it's Women's History Month, and I think it's pretty remarkable that 5 of our 7 council members are women. I think it's a great reflection of the leadership and civic engagement of the women in our community, and just wanted to make note. I think it's pretty special and cool, something we can be proud of.
I love that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
So all I have is 2 things that was said about the Stony Creek cheer team, and then the Community Outlook breakfast I thought was wonderful. I do think we need a little swag. Rochester Hills has amazing swag. I didn't put that out for the budget. I thought about putting that out for the budget, but, and then I also had, I did a welcome for the Rochester Community Concert Band. Last week they played at St. Paul's, and they are incredible. They did a Phantom of the Opera, a different version of it that was so moving and great. So everybody should watch. Their concerts are free. And then the skateboard park, it's going to happen. So it looks like by the end of April, shovels in the ground. So you will see Jason over there working on the basketball court that's going away and starting to do some work there, which is great. And I will be gone at the next meeting. So Mayor Pro Tem will be running the next meeting.
Oh, no.
I'm following the suit of other council members and going.
A man running the meeting, a man?
Yeah, a man is going to run the next meeting. So with that said, the meeting is adjourned.
Safe space.
I thought it was fitting that International Women's Day.